and a woman were shot Saturday in the 7,000 block of South Merrill. Hospital officials say the woman is in stable condition. The condition of the man is unknown. Police say the suspect is an alleged gang member. Published report says a powerful aide to top Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan is a contract employee with outside clients that depend on the General Assembly and Mike Madigan for funding. Sun-Times says Madigan spokesman Steve Brown's clients include a program for nursing assistants that saw its state funding more than double in the last couple of years. Brown's state contract provides a salary of $112,000 this year, plus benefits. Outside clients boost his yearly income to nearly $200,000. The 66-year-old says he discloses clients, and his clients include a not-for-profit that helps dropouts that has also received $1.6 million in state grants over the last 2 years. National Weather Service says 2 weak tornadoes touched down in DuPage County last week. The Daily Herald is reporting that an E0 tornado stayed on the ground for about 3 miles in southeastern Naperville, and an E0 tornado developed in Downers Grove Tuesday night and stayed on the ground for about a quarter mile. Cubs winners over Atlanta 9-3. Chris Bryant homered twice. Seattle over the White Sox 8-6. Sox took 2 of 3 in that series. The news service of the Milwaukee Airport with all the major U.S. airlines, including Southwest, Delta, United, American, U.S. Airways, Alaska, Frontier, OneJet, and Air Canada. Milwaukee is the O'Hare alternative. Visit flymke.com today. 5:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This election season, there's only one place in Chicago where you can weigh in with your opinion on all the candidates, from the debates to the primaries.
If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be talking about illegal immigration.
From the conventions to Election Day.
What is he for? I have no idea whether he's conservative.
We need to control our border. It's important to be qualified.
We're your election headquarters in Chicago.
I'm a conservative, pro-life governor in a state where it's really tough to be both.
We're AM 560. The Answer.
If you're suffering from hearing loss, then turn up your radio, because you'll want to hear this life-changing offer. Right now, you have the chance to hear things again more clearly and crisply than you ever imagined, absolutely risk-free. You heard me right. Now you can try an amazing, life-changing technological breakthrough called Listen Clear and hear everything, absolutely risk-free. We'll even give you free shipping and free batteries for life, but you must call now. 1-800-300-3391. Listen Clear is precisely engineered by audiologists to fit your ear almost invisibly, and you can adjust it to hear more clearly wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Listen Clear is lightweight and practically invisible, so nobody will even know you're wearing it. Now you can hear everything with Listen Clear. Call for your 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-300-3391. That's 1-800-300-3391. 1-800-300-3391.
5:06 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center this morning. Jim is out, filling in Dominic Fortini. Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning. Pretty quiet across the Chicago area, and that's good news if you're out and about. No problems either direction of the Edens. Even the inbound Kennedy looking okay. Just keep in mind the exit ramp from the inbound Ryan to eastbound Congress. That'll remain closed as part of the long-term construction projects. Eisenhower, Stevenson looking all right. Really the only problem outbound side of the Bishop Ford, a little bit slow between the Ryan and Stony Island. Traffic is a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast is a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mostly sunny day today with a gusty breeze. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. High of 74. Then for tonight, clear skies with a low of 54. A mostly sunny day tomorrow with a high of 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
58 at O'Hare, 62 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Quick thinking and gut instinct getting the credit tonight as the 3 Americans who helped tackle a gunman on board a Paris-bound train described in detail, together for the first time, how they were able to subdue the shooter.
He never said a word. He just basically came in, and when he entered the car, we saw him cocking the AK-47. So at that time, it was either do something or die.
Donald, welcome to my hometown, Mobile, Alabama.
You know, if this were another country, we could maybe call for an expedited election, right? I would love that. Can we do that? Can we do that? I'd like to have the election tomorrow. I don't want to wait.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson.
So I see John Cass left some things behind when he was filling in. My hair scrunchie, really? Do you want me to mail it back to him?
I don't think that's his. He was a bit harried on Thursday and Friday because with the announcement of the resignation of the Greek Prime Minister, he's readying for the call to abscond to Athens.
But thanks for him for filling in. I had a great time. Went camping, hunting, fishing, shooting.
I'm sorry, hunting?
I went hunting. I tried to.
What'd you hunt?
Some quails.
For trophy hunting?
I just couldn't do it. Yeah, big game hunting. I wanted to go get Jericho, Cecil's brother.
All right.
No, we're in northern Wisconsin and just
for PETA members that are listening, that's Amy Jacobson. That's SON.
You know where to find us.
Yeah.
No, have you? But real quick, have you ever tried to kill an animal?
No. Have I ever hunted?
When you go
No.
shooting, you go skeet shooting or you just go target shooting, right?
Right. Sporting clays.
So yeah, I did some of that out on a farm, but then we tried to hunt animals. I couldn't do it. I couldn't pull the trigger. I wasn't that hungry enough to want quail and kill a quail. Because then I saw the mom quail and some babies, and I thought, no, I'm out.
You prefer not to use a weapon, but your bare hands, so you really own the kill.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, but it was fun. Wisconsin's beautiful. Gosh, gorgeous, gorgeous place.
Thanks largely to Scott Walker.
You know what? And they love Scott Walker. They love him so much, Dan, that they don't want him to be president. They want him to remain as governor of Wisconsin.
We'll see about that. He was on ABC's this week with number one son in terms of Clinton Foundation donations, George Stephanopoulos. So we'll talk about that. But first, we must recognize 3 American heroes. 3 Americans saving the French. That's a storyline I've heard somewhere before.
That's a Hollywood script, right?
So this train, this high-speed train from Amsterdam to Paris, Moroccan national terrorist comes out of the bathroom wielding an AK-47. It turns out he's got a Luger, he's got a box cutter, he's got...
Oh, and he used that box cutter.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He's got multiple magazines. And 3 Americans, 1 Air Force, Spencer Stone, 1 Oregon National Guard, that's Scarlatos, and 1 just a college friend of theirs, a kid named Sadler. They chose not to lead from behind. So thankfully, they have not been listening to the President of the United States. They chose to get up and take on this gun-wielding terrorist, subdue him, beat him unconscious.
Hog tie him, which I loved.
And in so doing, Spencer Stone, Air Force, he's slashed in the back of the neck with a box cutter. But of course, they're all fine. They had a press conference where they answered questions about exactly what happened and how it happened. Let's listen to Spencer Stone basically giving us the drill down here.
It's kind of a long story. Alec just hit me on the shoulder to say, let's go. And ran down, tackled him. We hit the ground. Alec came up and grabbed the gun out of his hand while I put him in a chokehold. It seemed like he just kept pulling more weapons left and right. All 3 of us started punching him while he's in the middle of us.
God, And, he also the attacker severed off his thumb.
Right, thought he was going to lose his thumb.
Yeah, so the doctors, he praised them this morning when he was getting his award that they were able to sew it back on, put it back together. But even while he was bleeding from the neck from the box cutter slash, he still was helping another person on the train who was shot in the leg. I mean, he didn't stop. These are really, truly heroes. And I know people throw that word around a lot, but they were so selfless in giving up their own lives or trying to. They would have, sacrificed their own lives to help people on that train.
Well, I mean, not also to help themselves. They recognized to some extent what they were facing. At least they did so instinctually. And here's some interesting comments from these guys. One was that the question of, for the two that had military background, Air Force, Oregon National Guard, was this your training kicking in, or was it just instincts? And listen to this. This is Scarlatos addressing this question. Listen to this because it calls to mind what civilians in this country do or don't do. Say, for example, if you're on a Washington subway train and you watch a guy get stabbed 37 times and you do nothing about it.
I feel our training mostly kicked in after this assailant was already subdued, frankly, when it came to medical care and things like that, and providing security, making sure there wasn't another shooter. But in the beginning, it was mostly just gut instinct, survival, basically, like Spencer said.
Mostly just survival, mostly just instinct. Sadler, the third that was there, the non-military, just a college friend of theirs. Listen to what he had to say. He may have said the most important thing here. Again, keep this in a civilian context when we're talking about just seeing an attack on the streets of any major city in the country. The attacks that we've seen, the horrific attacks I just mentioned, perhaps the most prominent in the last 6 months at least, the stabbing death on that Washington subway where everybody just sat there and watched a guy get stabbed 37 times. Get stabbed
One person
to death, 37
recorded it,
times.
though. Yeah, one person recorded it and still didn't call 911.
And subsequent to that, we've heard stories from other people who've been in similar situations where nobody rendered aid while they were just sitting there watching somebody getting beaten, getting robbed, getting otherwise exploited.
And I just want the lesson to be learned that basically in times of crisis like that, I would want it to be learned that basically to do something. Hiding or sitting back is not going to accomplish anything, and the gunman would have been successful if my friend Spencer had not gotten up. So I just want that lesson to be learned going forward in times of terror like that, to please do something. Don't just stand by and watch.
It was very reminiscent the way that the Scarlatos turned to Stone or Stone turned to Scarlato. I think it was Stone turned to Scarlatos and said, let's go. It was very reminded me of
Todd Beamer on Flight 93.
Exactly.
Let's roll.
Totally.
Let's do this.
Totally.
They joined forces. They're childhood friends. They know each other so well, and they knew that they had to work together to bring down this gunman. And he had 8 full magazines, so this guy was ready to attack. His attorney came out and said, he was just trying to rob people. Now, that's not how you rob people.
Yeah, there was a response.
Hello.
That question was asked of these guys,
Oh, really?
and they responded to that suggestion.
He was about, I don't know, you guys want to help me out? He was skinny, probably 160, 170.
About 5'10", yeah, pretty skinny. He never said a word. He just basically came in, and when he entered the car, we saw him cocking the AK-47. So at that time, it was either do something or die.
In the beginning, it was mostly just gut instinct.
I saw Spencer get up, I saw Alec get up, and those are my close friends, so I was just I couldn't let them go alone.
As for the suspect's claim that he wasn't on board to kill,
it doesn't take 8 magazines to rob a train.
He seemed like he was ready to fight to the end, so where were we?
And they talked about that when they were trying to subdue him. He kept pulling out weapons. First it was a Luger, then it was the box cutter that he slashed Spencer Stone with. So obviously this was terror-inspired. And, of course, subsequent to the attack, we learn about this guy who had ties to terrorists, had been arrested before.
He was on France's terrorist watch list for a long time, and then they took him off it, and then this happened. But, kudos to these guys. And, of course, they received a phone call from President Obama, but while you were sleeping, they were honored and actually had the Legion d'Honneur, that's how you call it, the Legion honor pins, bestowed upon them.
Excellent French
Thank
accent.
you. I think Mrs. Candiotto, my French teacher, would be very proud of me. I couldn't pronounce it correctly. But yeah, so and Holland, he did a wonderful job. It was a nice ceremony. Holland, excuse me.
Your French teacher would be less proud of you.
It was very gracious and just credited them with being heroes and saving dozens of lives.
Yes.
Where were the Frenchmen in the train? Do you think France still hates us now? Because every time I've been to France, they're not really so warm to Americans.
I mean, I think they like being saved by us. I think that history is pretty clear about that.
They hate us until they need our help.
But I just go back again. The thinking, the takeaway from this issue, Sadler, the college kid, the most important thing that was said was about doing something. Don't just stand there and wait to die. And it was self-preservation, as they said, because they recognized kind of instinctively this is something other than, give me your purses and wallets, okay? But think about the innocent bystander culture that we have in this country, as among some, but you see it play out enough that it's a concern. And I just hope that the people in America take the lesson of Sadler to do something. Don't just stand there and watch when you see someone committing a violent act. Do something if you can. It was instinctive what they did. The military training took over afterwards in terms of securing the area after they had subdued. So get together some people and do something to quell violence.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And the fourth person honored today, Dan, the British tourist. He tripped the terrorist and used his necktie to hog tie him with.
Yeah, they gave the three Americans gave him credit too, as being as heroic as they were.
Your forecast today, a lot of people going back to school today. Sorry, kiddies. Mostly sunny with some gusty breeze. A high of 74 degrees, not too bad. And then tonight, lows in the low 50s. And tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 72. Just a gorgeous day. Let's now go to the roadways and say hello to Dominic Fortini, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Looking like those buses are going to have no problem getting through either. Still pretty quiet across the Chicago area roadways. Edens and Kennedy moving well. 20 minutes O'Hare into downtown. 10 in from the Junction 8 in the inbound express. Eisenhower, Stevenson looking like no problems there. Outbound Ryan, we got a little bit of road work on the outbound side of the Ford, so things slowing down near 87th. Inbound Bishop Ford tightens up near Cottage Grove. Everything else looking incident-free, no problems. Southbound Lakeshore Drive looking good. All the tollways rolling well. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
For collectors of coins and currency, investors, or people who want to check out some fantastic history, make plans to attend the 56th Annual Coin and Currency Show presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association. The show is at the Tinley Park Convention Center, Thursday through Saturday, September 10th through 12th. Admission and parking is free. Just bring your photo ID. This is one of the largest shows in the country, with hundreds of dealers and displays valued at millions of dollars. If you're a serious collector, this is a show you can't miss. If you're an investor or just want to find out more about coins and currency, this show is a can't miss. Bring the friends and family and look at history right in front of you. Don't miss special events for kids on Saturday, seminars and events all weekend long. The Illinois Numismatic Association presents the 56th Annual Coin and Currency Show, Thursday through Saturday, September 10th through 12th at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Thursday and Friday, view items for a rare coin auction that starts Friday at 4 p.m. Get more information at ilnaclub.info.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-433-7114. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-433-7114. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-433-7114. That's 1-800-433-7114.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Crazy Uncle Joe looks like he's getting in the race. Cover of the Wall Street Journal yesterday. Joe Biden, speculation heating up. More Democrats looking for a Joe Biden run. California Governor Moonbeam told Meet the Press this weekend that Biden should give very serious consideration to a presidential run. And, of course, he met with Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, that's the big news.
On Saturday.
Yeah, where did they have this secret meeting, and were they trying to keep it secret?
There's no. This obviously they leaked this on purpose to fuel speculation and support for a Biden run. You know, that's just how you do it in politics. And so, you know, they were talking because she's got a lot of good ideas on how to get the economy going. Hello. That's why they were meeting.
Sure.
They're obviously meeting to see if Biden could generate some support from Elizabeth Warren, because he gets in this race. The problem he has is he's just another 50-year political hack, 40-year political hack in D.C.
What is he, 72 years old now?
Something like that. And how does he distinguish himself from as just another establishment candidate like Hillary? What's the difference?
Also, too, will be his third time running for president, and what he lacks is campaign dollars. He cannot compete with Hillary's campaign cash that she keeps,
Well, right. I mean, this is all the run up. This is all the run up to see if he can put together the necessary resources. I presume he can. He can put the necessary resources to compete. The question is, where's his market share? Are you really going to have the people that want to make history with Hillary, that are kind of establishment types? They're not the Black Lives Matter agitators. Are you going to have them roll to Joe Biden?
I don't know. I heard from some political insiders who told me that they are so concerned about Hillary's emails and the way that her camp handled it, that they are really scared that she is going to be indicted, Dan, and they don't like Bernie Sanders or the other two, and they need somebody.
What
so
Joe
Biden's your backup.
Marty O'Malley said,
Marty.
I'm sorry. For those of you who aren't paying idiosyncratic attention to the race and have no idea who Marty O'Malley is, Marty O'Malley's he actually was the governor of Maryland. I'm always surprised to remember that. And
wasn't he the mayor of Baltimore too?
Yeah, he did a real bang up job there. He said that he welcomes another lifelong Democrat into the race.
Wow.
What? Because Hillary was like a Goldwater girl in 100 years ago. That she's not a Democrat. I mean, this is why Marty O'Malley's campaign is not exactly gaining traction. I don't really understand
but could
that.
you trust Joe Biden? Is he more trustworthy than Hillary? I mean, her campaign has done a horrible job handling this email scandal. Horrible. From the get-go, from that very first press conference where she was so agitated and just, persnickety and just did not want to be talking to members of the media. From that until now, nothing has really changed. She disgusted me back then, and she disgusts me now.
Yeah, well,
she's going to go down. This is not going to end well.
Oh, she still enjoys a fairly comfortable lead and structural lead. Yes, Bernie Sanders popping up in New Hampshire. Yes, him closing the gap in Iowa. But the reality is, this is very early, and all the structural advantages accrue to Hillary. Now that she had all the structural advantages in 2008 as well, and that didn't work out particularly well for her. But there's nobody of the likes of Barack Obama in terms of political skill and also the history quotient, which is what the Democrats always like to do with their, identity politics. So Bernie Sanders, yeah, he's got a low ceiling. Maybe he's got a bit of a high floor, but he's got a low ceiling. Marty O'Malley's off the grid, and Joe Biden is kind of a cheap impersonation of Hillary. They're kind of cut from the same cloth. They're more or less the same animal. She's just a more kind of vicious and Machiavellian one, perhaps. And let's not forget, the emails is one thing, and her legal and political problems. Remember what we started this spring and summer talking about as it pertains to Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff is going to come back around, and perhaps these parallel lines at some point are going to intersect once we get all of the emails, once the State Department stops slow walking it, thanks to federal district court judges and Judicial Watch and other outside interests. We'll see if maybe there is intersection between the Clinton Foundation and the general email problems, the classified information. We'll see if you can make direct links between Hillary trafficking and classified information that was hacked and it directly compromised, if not cost, the lives of American intelligence officers? All those questions need to be asked, and there's real possibility there. So this could all metastasize into something much more serious for Hillary politically and legally than it is currently. So I guess I can understand Joe Biden in the emergency glass, but boy, that's a pretty weak plan B, isn't it?
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
You are a sign business, you want to grow, and you want to make more money. So do I. I want to partner with you. This is Dave Carlson, and my sign company is Franco Carlson & Company. We've been doing business in Chicago since 1894. With millions of dollars of state-of-the-art equipment, we can do any job. Trade shows, bus and vehicle wraps, banners for special events, even custom wallpaper. We can help you expand your sign business. If there is an order, any order, or a piece of business that you don't have the capabilities to do yourself, we can do it with you. You don't have to turn away any sign or print business any longer. Speed and quality to meet your deadlines. And we won't go after your customers directly. You have my word on that. Expand your sign business. Take any order. Make more money. Become a partner with Franco Carlson & Company. Contact me for a quote or stop by for a tour of our shop. Franco Carlson & Company. We are the sign company's partner.
Call Franco Carlson & Company at 773-847-6900. 773-847-6900. Hey, I, Joe Walsh, want to thank all the AM 560 listeners who have purchased thousands of My Pillows over the last 18 months and are enjoying your best sleep ever. But that still leaves thousands of you who haven't taken advantage of the buy one, get one free offer. What are you waiting for? It's so important to get a great night's sleep. I've been using the My Pillow for almost 2 years now. It's the perfect pillow. I absolutely love it. So don't wait any longer. My Pillow helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies, and more. Plus, My Pillow is washable and keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it was named the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the My Pillow buy one get one free offer, visit mypillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Please use that promo code Joe. Do it now, 1-800-489-0201, or online at mypillow.com, promo code Joe, 1-800-489-0201.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
30,000 show up in Alabama to listen to a witless ape wearing a funny hat. We'll have that at 5:38.
And later, Ashley Madison clients revealed, and one politician coming forward to tearfully make a public apology. You'll hear it here. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good Monday morning. 61 degrees. International and stock markets tumbling as Asia's gloom is spreading to early trading in Europe. In Hong Kong this morning, Gregor Stewart Hunter says investors are feeling the pinch here in the U.S. in early futures trading as well.
The ramifications of this will spread outwards to the rest of the world. With the U.S. Federal Reserve currently thinking about whether September might be the right time to raise interest rates for the first time in many years, there's going to be additional arguments that it might not be a good time to do that.
Stuart Hunter with the Wall Street Journal in Hong Kong. China's dimming outlook is provoking more calls for more economic stimulus in Beijing. No one hurt, lots of damage after an explosion at a U.S. Army base in Japan. The explosion blew out windows and doors and collapsed half of one building that stored compressed nitrogen and oxygen. Emergency workers picking through the wreckage of a vintage fighter jet. It crashed on a freeway in southwestern England. Police say it's a good bet the death toll will rise. They expect that final death toll at more than the current 11, but to not more than 20. 3 Americans and a Briton who overpowered a man shooting at passengers on a train, now wearing this morning France's highest honor. French President Francois Hollande presenting the Legion of Honor to American boyhood friends Alex Skarlatos, Spencer Stone, and Anthony Sadler, and Briton Chris Norman were all honored this morning.
I know these young men sitting with me won't like it, because even in the brief period we've known each other, They are so humble.
U.S. Ambassador to France Jane Hartley. President Obama, a busy schedule now that vacation is finally over. The next month and a half will include a vote by Congress on the Iran nuclear deal. Presidentially, the Republican frontrunner says the first step in fighting illegal immigration is letting the Border Patrol do its job.
People are walking across the border right now, right in front of these great people that we have. We have wonderful Border Patrol people. They can do their job, but they're not allowed to do the job. People are walking right into our country, totally, nobody even knows where they come from.
ABC's This Week, Donald Trump. A Louisiana state trooper this morning is in critical condition, shot in the head during a traffic stop.
Watched that truck door came open, and I saw a shotgun blast. This guy was carrying a sawed-off shotgun. Let me tell you something, that shotgun wasn't to do anything else but hurt somebody.
State Police Superintendent Michael Edmondson, two men who were driving by actually stopped, wrestled that shotgun away from Kevin Deigel, who is in custody, and put the injured trooper's handcuffs on the suspect. A well-known anti-violence activist here in Chicago grieving the loss of his daughter. Andrew Holmes says his daughter, Tamara Sword, was killed Saturday in Indianapolis. Sunday morning, Chicago Police bomb squad descended on Spring Hill Suites near O'Hare after someone left a suspicious box in a parking lot. After investigating, police say it doesn't appear there was any criminal intent. Cubs over Atlanta 9-3. Seattle beat the White Sox 8-6. The news, a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. Many rose up with violence. He sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength cultivated within his soul. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather coming up next on 560.
Mike Gallagher wonders why Hillary's email server isn't getting more coverage.
We've got the presumptive Democrat nominee under investigation by the FBI. This should be the story morning, noon, and night on all the major networks, all the cable news networks, every radio show, and the FBI seized her email server, which of course is empty because she scrubbed it.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee. Period.
This message is for home intruders, the cowards who break into people's homes to steal their hard-earned property, criminals who shatter lives and rob people of their privacy and security. Listen very carefully. We're the home security experts at LiveWatch, and we're taking you down. Because we're letting everyone try our newest home security system for 1 full year in their home. To take advantage of this amazing offer, call now 1-800-500-9903. LiveWatch has been helping protect homes for years, and we've learned the secrets that intruders like you don't want people to know. Criminals, it's time for you to be afraid, because every person who calls will be protected against cowards like you. To the criminals listening, we're taking you down. To those who want to help protect their homes, call the security experts to try the LiveWatch security system. There are no long-term contracts, and if you're not completely satisfied, you can cancel at any time. Try LiveWatch now by calling 1-800-500-9903. That's 1-800-500-9903.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a risk-free trial of Nubiotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a risk-free trial, call 1-800-550-1388.
I used to be plagued by potbelly and constant bloating. After taking Nubiotics, my belly flattened and continues to get flatter. My sense of bloating and discomfort is gone.
If you've got a big belly, you might not be fat. You might just be bloated. Nubiotics is scientifically formulated with natural ingredients to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. It even combats periodic heartburn and acid reflux. So just think how much better you'll look and feel. Think you might be bloated? Call now for a risk-free trial of Nubiotics and see how much flatter it makes your belly. You might be surprised. But hurry, call now for details while these risk-free trials last. 1-800-550-1388. That's 1-800-550-1388. 1-800-550-1388.
537 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Dominic.
Good morning. Looking good so far, both directions of the Edens. Kennedy, no problems either. 20 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 10 in from the Junction, 8 in the inbound express. Keep in mind, you've got the exit ramp to eastbound Congress closed. until next Monday. Still not causing any issues, though. Eisenhower and Stevenson looking pretty decent. Outbound Ryan, though, we got a jam solid backup right now between 83rd and 91st. We've got a crash knocking out the 4 left lanes. Multiple injuries there on the scene. Also slow onto the outbound Ford with roadwork to Stony Island, so already 30 minutes downtown to 95th. Traffic's a service of the Boys and Girls Club of America. It's 3 p.m. School's out for America's kids, and when school's out, clubs are in. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast is a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Sunny with a gusty breeze, high 74. 56 at O'Hare, 59 along the lakefront. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the New American Funding Show, walking you through stress-free mortgage options. Sunday afternoons at 1 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. Since we're all losing our retirement savings in the stock market, we might as well talk about Donald Trump. Kind of the bread and circuses. Keep our attention on to more entertaining matters of sort. Trump in Alabama on Thursday night, they had to move the venue from a 2,500-seat venue to a 30,000-seat venue.
Wow.
30,000 people showed up to listen to Donald Trump's string of self-indulgences. And he was actually got some legitimacy because you had Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, who likes Donald's immigration plan, introduce him.
Donald, welcome to my hometown, Mobile, Alabama. The American people, these people, want somebody in the presidency who stands up for them, defends their interests and the laws and traditions of this country. We welcome you here. Thank you for the work you put into the immigration issue. I'm really impressed with your plan. I know it will make a difference. And this crowd shows that a lot of people agree with that. Congratulations.
Yeah. It was an excited crowd. And Donald was there, sans tie, but with his...
of course. Oh, with that goofy hat?
The Make America Great hat. He won with 125 skee ball tickets.
Could you bend the rim? I can't stand how it's flat. He's looking gangster. I want to bend it forward,
Yeah, he's so...
Make it look more worn in.
He's very current. So
yes,
that's how the kids are doing it. And then Donald said something, too. I mean, I know this was in jest. I'm not taking it seriously. Just like I don't take anything he says seriously. But, I mean, think about if President Obama had said this.
If this were another country, we could maybe call for an expedited election, right? I would love that. Can we do that? Can we do that? I'd like to have the election tomorrow. I don't want to wait.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That would have been, if those words came out of a different mouth, there'd be hell to pay this morning.
Well, although I do think
I'm sweating over here.
I do think that's honest. I mean, I do think that he would want the election tomorrow, as any front runner would. But that was largely the kind of tenor and substance of his talk, like every talk. Mm-hmm. It's amazing to me the people that find him so endearing. I mean, think about this. If you went out to dinner with someone like Donald Trump, who wasn't Donald Trump, and they talked about how much money they have all night, and then talked about how great they were.
I know people like that.
And everybody else that was referenced in the conversation was a hater and a loser. How mundane and annoying would that dinner companion be?
Well, you'd never go out to dinner with him again.
But for some reason, if you scale it, there is a substantial percentage of the Republican Party electorate that is so angry and so frustrated. And I've said before, I understand the anger and frustration, and it's legitimate, that they are willing to fall behind this huckster. It's just a little bit disturbing. And by the way, if I could just, because Donald Trump, he's out for the little guy. I know the substantive record of Donald Trump's rhetoric and conduct in business or personally, it matters not to some. but I'm going to offer it up anyway, so it can be summarily dismissed by some, but perhaps contemplated by others. David Bose from the Cato Institute has an excellent piece. One of the worst Supreme Court decisions in the last 50 years, Kalo versus New London, Connecticut, where with the holding of the High Court was essentially that local units of government could eminent domain people's private property, Susan Kalo, her home in New London, Connecticut, for higher, better economic purposes. What's that?
That happened to us. My grandpa's business, it was in a great, beautiful spot in Niles, and the city came in and said that it was a condemned building, and they took it as part of eminent domain and gave us a fourth of what it was worth. But we had no recourse. We hired attorneys,
but
nothing
in order
happened.
to do what? What was the city's project?
Oh, now it's the Public Works building.
Yeah.
Because it was a great location. So if it snows, and their whole argument was, well, when there's heavy snowfall, the equipment's right there. It's a prime location at a busy intersection.
That
building was clean. That building was not condemned. That building was livable, and that hurt my grandpa's feelings a lot too. Talk about feelings, but also financially. But it was just, it's eminent domain. If your house or your building is in a place that they want, the big government will come in and they'll take it.
Well, there's eminent domain for a public use like that, and you can argue it, I understand, but that's contemplated in the Constitution. But eminent domaining somebody's private property for someone else's private use, private economic benefit, that was the development from the Kalo decision, and it's terrible. It completely tears asunder private property rights.
So taking, like, if you have a house,
right,
and it's the government wants your house, but they give it to another person?
No, I have a house, and a developer comes in, and they want my house to develop a shopping mall. And the government, and they use the instrument of government to take my house to give it the property to the developer at market rate, so they could do their shopping center. That's different than eminent domaining a house to put a highway
in, or a Public Works.
Right. So this is the development.
So the Jacobson Public Works.
So that's the yes, at least right, yes. At least they could invite you to the ribbon cutting. So that's the backdrop of this piece. So Donald Trump, I know this is just business because he's just a business guy, but maybe some people don't think so. Donald Trump has used eminent domain or attempted to use eminent domain to advance his business interests. David Bose, writes, for more than 30 years, Vera Koking lived in a 3-story house just off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Donald Trump built his 22-story Trump Plaza next door. In the mid-'90s, Trump wanted to build a limousine parking lot for the hotel, so he bought several nearby properties, but 3 owners, including the by then elderly and widowed Miss Koking, refused to sell. Trump then turned to a government agency, the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, to take Koking's property. That agency offered her $250,000, 1/4 of what another hotel builder had offered her a decade earlier. She turned that down. The agency went to court to claim her property under eminent domain so that Trump could pave it and put up a parking lot. Ultimately, the Institute for Justice, and thank God for their good work, public interest law firm out of D.C., represented Ms. Koking, and they defeated Trump, and he didn't get the house.
David versus Goliath.
Right.
Woo.
But the point was he tried to use government as an instrument to advance his personal financial interests. Is that something that we want? Or is that something that we've seen enough of? If you're a conservative, 312-642-5600. I don't know. It's something as a conservative, I've seen enough of, and there are other examples in the Bose piece, which I highly recommend. But this is it, because remember what Trump's argument is. And the Wall Street Journal opined on this over the weekend, finally catching up to what I've been saying for the last 3 months. But I won't demand a seat on their editorial
Are you going to
board.
start telling me how much money you make?
No. No, because it is not impressive enough for anybody to care. So the argument is I don't take large campaign donations. Mm-hmm. I'm not beholden to lobbyists because I'm this billionaire. Okay, let's say that's true. What does that say? Well, it says 2 things. It says, one, only rich people should be able to run for office who can self-finance their campaign. Is that what we want?
No.
Is somebody who is rich, and we had this, I've had this discussion before on the Republican side too. Bruce Rauner was essentially making this argument early on in the primary, and I completely dispatched that argument too when it was Bruce Rauner, a Republican, and frankly, even in the general election. I don't like that argument. Because you have a lot of money, that does not make you any more or less moral or any more or less a person of integrity than somebody without money. I know a lot of people with money that are great people, highly ethical people, and I know people with a lot of money that are not.
But
I know
Bruce
people.
Rauner, I found it attractive because I didn't want Ask Me and other big unions to buy him off.
We're correct. Him not taking public sector union money, absolutely.
Yes.
That was a feature. No question about it.
For me, that was in the
question
plus
about
column.
it. But you can raise money without being dependent on the public sector unions. The point is, I know rich people, I know people of the limited means that are highly ethical and people of integrity, and I also know people with limited means that are jerks, and they're not quality people. So your net worth is not a synonym for your character, and that's what Trump seems to be suggesting. I don't like it. I reject it. In addition to that, as I've asked before and the Wall Street Journal asks, say he is not beholden to anyone other than Donald Trump. Look at Donald Trump's history in business, in the public arena, not just what he says now, but what he has done. Do you trust Donald Trump's judgment to use government for your interests or to use government for his own? Important questions to contemplate.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Mostly sunny today with a gusty breeze, a high of 74 degrees. Not bad. Tonight, clear and a low of 54 degrees, so you can turn off your AC. And for tomorrow, Tuesday, just a gorgeous day. Mostly sunny skies, a high of 72. Let's get the travel times and say hello to Dominic Fortini, who's in for Jim Talamonte.
Still incident-free both directions of the Edens. Kennedy, 20 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 10 in from the junction, 8 in the express. You've got the exit ramp to eastbound Congress closed until next Monday. Just keep that in mind. Eisenhower and Stevenson remain pretty quiet. Inbound Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th into downtown. We had some slowdowns with some people taking a peek at the accident on the outbound side of the Ryan, where it's stop and go beginning right near 79th. That crash, a multiple vehicle accident, was taking out 4 lanes. Those lanes have been reopened, but plenty of emergency equipment on the scene. Use some extra caution there. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Ask any Chicagoan for directions and you'll hear, get on the Eisenhower, take the Ronald Reagan, go to the Jane Addams, avoid the Bishop Ford. You know all the roads by name because you spend hundreds of hours in your car in some of the worst traffic ever. So it's no surprise that you see crashes and accidents every day. Thankfully, it wasn't you. But when it is, the only name you need to remember is Turry's Auto Body, Inc.
They take the stress out of your collision repair with in-house tow-in service and complete follow-through with your insurance company. Turry's employs iCard trained technicians, meaning the person working on your car has been specifically trained in auto collision repair. The environmentally friendly painting is done in computerized downdraft booths, and prompt personal service will put you back on the road in no time. You'll drive away with a smile on your face because your car looks and sounds the same as it did before the accident. Turry's Auto Body, open 6 days a week with locations in Bellwood on Manheim and in Villa Park on North Ave and Ardmore. Turry'sAutoBody.com. Quality collision repair.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers over 90 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-504-3229. That's 1-800-504-3229.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 90 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-504-3229. That's 1-800-504-3229.
This is Dan Proft with an upstream idea, brought to you in part by the Illinois Policy Institute. 66. That's the percentage of fourth graders in the state of Illinois who neither read nor do math at a fourth grade level. 2/3 of the children among the 2.1 million grammar school students in the state are falling behind before they get to fourth grade. Is this a state spending problem? State spending on K through 12 education has increased by more than 60% in real terms during the past 2 decades. Perhaps it's how the money is spent rather than how much of it is spent. And perhaps it's time to rethink how we do K through 12 education in the 21st century. Things like at what grade level we teach foreign languages, in what order do we teach science, and the length of the school day. This should sound an alarm for those in charge of funding and administering K-12 education in Illinois to finally force real system change. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. That website, upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about Trump. Our text from a couple of our 708 big Trump fans. Just admit when you're wrong, Dan. Trump isn't going away. Say it. I've said it, actually. I'm a little bit nervous about Trump's staying power. I would have thought the flame would have started to flicker. And I'm not so impressed with where he sits in terms of poll numbers because I think there's some structural weaknesses there.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this. This is the argument that people are making. This is Rudy Giuliani. He was ahead in the polls in 2008. This is Herman Cain or Gingrich. They were ahead in the polls for a time during the 2012 race. This is not that. Nobody was putting 30,000 people in a stadium. The intensity behind Trump is something that is qualitatively different than anything that we have seen in recent memory in the Republican Party at the presidential level.
But
so this is something
catapulted
different.
him to the top? I mean, was it about immigration?
No.
Was it about just his bulliness, his barking, just a lack of energy in the Republican Party?
I think Walter.
I'm trying to find it.
I think Walter Russell Mead has it sussed out. I think this populist nihilism that exists in the body politic, meaning even if you think Trump is a sham, the whole thing is a sham, and he's the only one saying it. I think so. So it's bigger than a single issue. It's a sensibility. It's a mentality that has appeal. And another text from 7-8, your constant Trump bashing makes me like him more. For the Trump supporters, if you want to talk about this, I'm happy to talk about this. You have to respond on the substance. You can't call instances where Trump, for example, used a government to try and take somebody else's private property. You can't call that Trump bashing. You have to address the substance of what this man actually has said and actually has done, just like we would any other candidate. To just dismiss this all as Trump bashing is to exploit the weakness of your support, the quality of your support for Donald Trump. So
well, listen,
bring it up a notch, 708.
There's dirt on every candidate.
Right.
There is no perfect, unflawed candidate.
Of course
maybe Scott
not.
Walker. Maybe,
No.
I mean, everyone's got some dirt.
Everyone has flaws, and these are all fallible human beings. Christ is not descending from on high to run for president.
He never made a mistake.
Correct.
He is not broken.
Infallible. But I mean, this just any type of discussion of Trump where you raise an issue is Trump bashing. It's juvenile. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. There's no difference between Trump and the Daily Boys and Rauner. They all made money off the government expense. The Dailies all got a piece of the contracts. Trump uses eminent domain to take people's wealth away from them. Rauner made money off of public school teachers and their pensions, and now he wants to eliminate pensions in the public school teachers. All of those people, Trump, Rauner, and the Daily brothers, deserve the business end of the baseball bat.
Okay, Thanks for the call, Mike. I'm not sure that Rauner wants to eliminate public school teachers. And by the way, the money he made managing pension funds, he also provided a nice return for those pensioners. Randy on Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. I don't know that Trump did anything that you or I as a businessman wouldn't do. And you go back to 2006 and you look at all the subprime loans and stuff, and we blamed the banks and we blamed everybody else. And there were some bad eggs and there's some predatory lenders. But the reality is laws are put in place. If you don't take advantage of those laws as a businessman, you're not a very good businessman. Most of those businessmen that take advantage of those laws or work to get those laws written in their favor, they're doing, like Trump said, it's business. And I'm not endorsing one way or another. I think that he's here to stay. But the reality is we would all do anything we can legally, ethically to do it.
No, he wouldn't. Thanks for the call, Randy. I got to jump, but no, he wouldn't, and that's the problem. And that mentality of suggesting that it's all okay as long as it's under the umbrella of business is what gives you a kleptocracy. So if you like the Illinois model of governance, then vote for kind of the Trumpian kleptocracy where you use government as a sword or a shield depending on your interests at the time. No, not everybody does do that. No, not everybody would do that. And no, not everybody should do that.
I get big crowds. I get ratings.
When it comes to fixing things around the house, plumbing can be a real problem. But like any other problem, if you fix the underlying cause, then the problem goes away. If you've got low water pressure in your shower, sink, or washing machine, then the underlying cause is almost always your rusted and corroded pipes. The solution is to repipe your home by replacing those old clogged pipes with new, high-quality copper pipes. I'm Jeff Butler, owner of Repipe Specialists. We've been solving this problem by giving people brand new pipes and great water flow in their house for over 2 decades. In celebration of this 20 years, for a limited time, we're offering something we have never done before, and it's just for our Illinois customers. When you repipe the hot pipes in your house with us, we'll throw in all the cold water pipes and the patching for free. Plus, you still get a lifetime guarantee. So call now, 800-737-4746. That's 800-REPIPING. Get a hot side repipe and then get the cold side and the patching for free. 800-737-4746.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call David Hochberg, Vice President of Pearl Mortgage. Tammy, 2-term Afghan war vet, 2 sons, credit score 498, called to secure a VA loan. Tammy had no shot at purchasing a home at this time, so David introduced Tammy to his bankruptcy team at Debt Stoppers, who are helping her eliminate collections totaling $16,000. Then he introduced her to Margie at First Midwest Bank, who's helping her rebuild her credit with a CD loan. David will follow up with Tammy every 4 months over the next 2 years to ensure she's following his credit enhancement plan so he can help her secure a VA loan. If you've gone through economic challenges like Tammy and want to be put on the program so you can repurchase or refinance in the future, call David now at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. You can email him at david@perldavid.com or visit his website, am560david.com. David's helped thousands of AM560 listeners, and he'll help you. Call David now, 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA NMLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com/licensing.
Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Should we give blacks 5/3 the vote?
Ooh. And another person has come forward, not really being African American, but really they're white. We'll explain. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good Monday morning to our good friend Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. Police say 2 were shot in Chicago's South Shore neighborhood. We'll have an update on that story. What universities in the state are among the best in the world? We'll tell you. Governor Rauner signs a college sexual assault law. Cubs swept the Braves. The Mariners clipped the White Sox in weekend baseball. A sunny day ahead. We'll have a gusty breeze and we'll top out at 74 with a nighttime low of 54 ahead. A complete look at weather after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. 3 Americans honored as heroes in France.
It wasn't really a conscious decision. We just kind of acted. There wasn't much thinking going on.
And France's president says what Alex Scarlatos and the others did averted carnage, thwarting an attack on a train Friday. Fox News Radio's Simon Owen live in our European bureau.
Dave, at the French
news broke out about a 9-year-old girl in Ferguson died in a drive-by shooting in her room doing her homework. She dies by a stray bullet to the chest. Last night, who do you think they protested for? The thug, the criminal, because they're hollering police brutality. Are you kidding me? Police brutality? How about black brutality? You black people, my black people, you are the most violent I have ever seen in my life. A little girl is dead.
A suspect police say had just shot a state trooper yesterday.
You say black lives matter? Her life matters. Her dreams matter. Her future matters. Her promises matter. It matters. Yet you trifling are out there tearing up the neighborhood I grew up in.
You're lucky. You're lucky. You're going to die soon.
Trooper Vincent is in critical condition. Another big sell-off looming on Wall Street, where the Dow lost more than 1,000 points since last Wednesday. Futures are plunging after China's stock market dropped big again, dragging markets way down worldwide.
With the U.S. Federal Reserve currently thinking about whether September might be the right time to raise interest rates for the first time in many years, there's going to be additional arguments that it might not be a good time to do that.
Gregor Stewart Hunter with the Wall Street Journal in Hong Kong. Second, cancers are on the rise. New research says nearly 1 in 5 new cases in the U.S. now involve someone who's had the disease before. It was 9% in the 70s. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clear skies, 58 degrees this early morning, 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott, a well-known anti-violence activist in Chicago, grieving the loss of his daughter, Andrew Holmes. says his daughter Tamara Sword was killed Saturday in Indianapolis. Sword and another man were found dead in a vehicle after an altercation at a gas station. So far, no one has been arrested. 2 are hospitalized after being shot in a South Shore neighborhood. A man and woman shot Saturday in the 7,000 block of South Merrill Avenue. This morning, hospital officials say that woman is in stable condition. The condition of the man is unknown, and an investigation continues. 3 universities in Illinois have been recognized as among the best schools in the world. The academic ranking of world universities, also known as the Shanghai Rankings, released their annual report last week. The University of Chicago, Northwestern University, and University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign all claimed at least one of the top 20 spots in the rankings. Overall, the University of Chicago ranked the 9th best university in the world. Cubs over Atlanta 9-3. Chris Bryant homered twice. Seattle over the White Sox 8-6. Sox taking 2 of 3 in that series. WNBA was the Sky over Washington 66-64. The news, a service of the City of Chicago and Cook County. Suspicious activity can be found anywhere. Help keep our community safe. Call 855-RPRT-2S4. If you see something, say something, from the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and the Cook County Department of Homeland Security. 6:04 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This election season, there's only one place in Chicago where you can weigh in with your opinion on all the candidates, from the debates to the primaries.
If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be talking about illegal immigration.
From the conventions to Election Day.
What is he for? I have no idea whether he's conservative.
We need to control our border. It's important to be qualified.
We're your election headquarters in Chicago.
I'm a conservative, pro-life governor in a state where it's really tough to be both.
We're AM 560. The Answer.
Call Quicken Loans now at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the 2nd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
At TIAA Craft, our record sounds like a broken record. We got impressive results in 2013. And 2014, same thing. We're like, hey, weren't we just here? Then 2015, boom, more impressive results. That's the kind of record you'd expect from a company that's created to serve and built to perform. Intelligent investing, powerful results. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA Craft Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. Investing involves risk.
6:05, let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Dominic Fortini.
Eden's looking good in both directions. Inbound Kennedy at 20 minutes. O'Hare into downtown, 10 in from the Junction 8 and the inbound express. That exit ramp to eastbound Congress remains closed for another week or so. Outbound side gets a little tight as you approach Nagel into Sayre. Inbound Stevenson backing up central to Kedzie, 38 minutes from 355 into Lakeshore. Inbound Ryan at 23 minutes, 95th into downtown. That earlier crash that was closing down multiple lanes on the outbound side of the Kennedy, that's been moved off at 95th. Inbound side of the Bishop Ford, though a little bit tight near 115th. Traffic's a service of Unbound. Poverty doesn't discriminate. It feeds on the forgotten. At Unbound, they believe in the collective wisdom of society's oldest and most vulnerable members. Providing sponsorship for the elderly is just one way Unbound is different. Learn more at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today mostly sunny with a gusty breeze, high 74. Clear night, low 54. Then tomorrow mostly sunny throughout the day with a high of 72. Clear to partly cloudy skies for tomorrow night with a low 57. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 56 at O'Hare, 59 along the lakefront. 59 at Midway. Next news at 6:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox River Periodontics, Chicagoland's specialist with dental implants. To get your smile back, visit implantsforme.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Quick thinking and gut instinct getting the credit tonight as the three Americans who helped tackle a gunman on board a Paris-bound train described in detail, together for the first time, how they were able to subdue the shooter.
He never said a word. He just basically came in, and when he entered the car, we saw him cocking the AK-47. So at that time, it was either do something or die.
Donald, welcome to my hometown, Mobile, Alabama. You know, if this were another country, we could maybe call for an expedited election, right? I would love that. Can we do that? Can we do that? I'd like to have the election tomorrow. I don't want to wait.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So, Amy, Black Lives Matter hashtags spins off all kinds of other ideas. The Black Lives Matter campaign, by the way, has come out with its policy proposal, its platform, if you will, in this campaign season. Black Lives Matter hashtag has a
they have a mission statement?
Has a platform, 10 ideas to the Black Lives Matter campaign. At least they have ideas. They're not good ones, but they have ideas.
How long is it? 6 pages, like Donald Trump's immigration plan?
Well, covers more turf. And broken windows policing, which was successful in New York. Community oversight. Want more community oversight officers who do bad. At least that's a question. Wonder what they think about community oversight for people who shoot an officer, like that traffic stop that occurred in Louisiana where a state trooper was shot in the head and is in critical condition. I wonder what Black Lives Matter thinks about that. Limit use of force, independently investigate, community limit, body cameras. Yeah, okay. Training and for-profit policing. Agree with that, actually.
For-profit policing?
Turning police into kind of agents of revenue collection. I think there's something to that, demilitarization, and so on and so forth. There's a few kernels in there, but there's a lot of interesting ideas that are being floated to make America less race conscious, more colorblind. Well, you decide. This piece in the Washington Post over the weekend from one Theodore Johnson, an academic, career naval officer, former White House fellow, and a doctoral candidate in law and policy at Northeastern University, the Black Bears, I believe. Northeastern University.
Oh, that's their mascot?
Yeah. Well, some good basketball players came out of Northeastern. Reggie Lewis.
Oh.
Played for the Celtics, of course.
Of course, yes, I knew that.
Tragically died on the court, you'll remember. Reggie Lewis, yeah. Well, here's Theodore Johnson's idea. We used to count black Americans as 3/5 of a person. Mm-hmm. For reparations, give them 5/3 of a vote.
Okay. You told me there'd be no math today.
Right. So one man, one vote, unless you're black. Then it's one man, 1 2/3 of a vote. Right? The 3/5, 5/3. You see what he did there?
Yep.
Flip the script a little bit. So this
Well, then we should get 2 votes. Because while they considered our founding fathers African Americans 3/5 of a vote, we were nothing of a vote. Women. They didn't consider us people. When they were making up the congressional districts, they didn't count us in. And I don't know why they did that, but we changed that.
Women, okay, modern day suffragette that you are.
Yeah, so if we had no vote back then, now we should have 2 votes if their 3/5 turns into 1 2/3.
All right. Well, you'll have to write your own op-ed.
Okay.
And submit it to the Washington Post.
Women vote matters.
Yes.
Okay.
Double the women's vote. Women vote times 2, 2x. Okay. Well, should blacks get reparations, and should, instead of a monetary transfer? Should it be a super vote for an extended period of time, but extended but limited period of time? Mr. Johnson suggests maybe like 24 years, very much like the Sandra Day O'Connor opinion, her dicta in the Michigan Law School case. Affirmative action should exist for another, 25 years, and then it'll go away. Actually, it's very interesting because the framers thought the same thing. The framers thought the same thing of slavery. They were opposed to slavery, generally speaking. They thought it was an anachronism that would eventually fall by the wayside. It wasn't they were intent on enshrining slavery for time immemorial. Not that it excuses it,
Right.
but I'm just giving you the background and what the thinking was actually at the time. So Mr. Johnson says, here's the problem with reparations of the monetary order. 94% of whites oppose reparations, and only 60% of African Americans believe the government should make cash payments to descendants of slaves. So not a lot of popular support is the upshot to cash transfers. So perhaps this vote transfer, if you will. I'm not sure how much popular support there'll be for this, but he said, he writes that allowing black votes to count for 167% of everyone else's would mean that 30 million African-American votes would count as 50 million, substituting super votes for the implausible idea of cash payments. The plan should be temporarily limited in scope, since the point is not to permanently install a historical equivalence, but to erase structural disadvantages. Weighted voting could be fixed to some predetermined period, say 24 years, which is only about a third of the number of years that the 3/5 compromise was in place. And he also addresses, potentially the problem of eligibility. Who would a biracial voter qualify? A black immigrant? What exactly is an election official to do when Rachel Dolezal shows up to claim her 5/3 vote? The government shouldn't be the sole arbiter of who gets to be black, writes Theodore Johnson. So this is quite a provocative idea, I think. I think it's quite a silly idea, but it's a provocative idea nonetheless. Jeff and Elgin.
312-642-5600 is our number. Our turnkey.pro text line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Jeff and Elgin.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Every time I hear somebody misuse the 3/5 clause, I'm obligated to call in. It has nothing to do with voting. The 3/5 clause appears in the Article 2 of the Constitution, which is apportionment of representatives to the House of Representatives. It states that slaves, not blacks, count as 2/3 of a person for the apportionment of representatives.
Yeah, but that's not the. Yes, that's true.
It establishes the census for the counting of people. And also, if you look at that first sentence, census, what percentage of slaves were black, what percentage of slaves were not black. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with voting.
Yes, I understand. But, of course, you'll understand the point of his piece, Theodore Johnson's piece, is not to make the direct comparison, but to say this is a way to remedy the slight that blacks received in the Constitution. And so counting as 3/5 of a person for apportionment, give them 5/3 of a vote for a specified duration to remedy that offense in the Constitution. You understand the point he's making. It's not. He's not made.
No, I don't, because it was not an offense.
Yeah. Jeff. He is not suggesting that they had 3/5 of a vote back then. He's suggesting they were treated as 3/5 of a person for apportionment purposes, as you say. But the remedy, just like a cash payment would have nothing to do with the Constitution, the remedy instead of cash is 5/3 of a vote for a period of time. So the question is, are descendants of slaves owed any reparations whatsoever? And if so, what form they should take? He's suggesting political power rather than a direct economic benefit. That's all.
So the reparations would be in form of
Thanks
having
for the call, Jeff.
1 2/3 vote. That's what they want. That's what he's suggesting.
Yes, and Jeff's point is an important one. That is what he said is correct, but it's kind of past the gist of this idea. So what do you think?
I think that I want 2 votes then. If they get 1 2/3 votes, then women should have 2 votes. Because they didn't even consider us people back then. That's why I love what Sarah Palin and all those people say. Our founding fathers, our founding fathers didn't consider us people. We had no vote. We had no say. We had to stay in the kitchen. We had to work the farmland.
Right,
we had
I remember that in the Constitution.
Yes.
And that
yes,
women
that
shall stay in the
Constitution
in the kitchen. It was an important riff in the founding documents.
Well, no, I'm saying
not
if
exactly.
African Americans get 1 2/3 vote, we should get 2 votes. Oh, boy, that would be scary.
Ron on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Get John Lott on that case. Talk about women's suffrage and the rise of the welfare state. Track those two together. Ron on the South Side.
Hey, good morning. You know what? Relative to some kind of reparations, voting is meaningless and useless to black people. The whole thing with slavery basically created wealth for another group of people. Now, I don't believe in kind of money transfer. There has to be something institutionalized, because I definitely don't want it to be money, because it would end up in the hands of somebody like Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or something like that. But main thing, it has to be tied to some kind of institution. But voting, look, black people have continued to vote, and you know what? There's not been an improvement in terms of economics. So that's my comment. Thanks
for the call, Ron. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the implicit argument made by Theodore Johnson is more political power means they'll have more control of government, which means they'll have the ability to essentially direct other people's resources to themselves, the way that people in control of government have done historically. But the question is, how has that been working out in the black community? How's it been working out in America generally? Bigger government, redistributing more and more money. I mean, the inner cities are essentially wholly owned subsidiaries of big government. Education, healthcare, public safety, housing. Has that worked out? Has that worked out great?
No.
Food, I mean, in terms of link cards, right, as you said. Has that worked out great? No. So what Johnson's essentially suggesting, bigger government. Well, you have, unfortunately, both parties to varying extents have bought into big government. Government as this force for good. And unless Johnson's ultimate aim with this 5/3 vote is to say we need to kind of make America more free and repeal the hurdles that black Americans face to economic opportunity, like, say, for example, public schooling in the inner cities that has not achieved the dream of Brown versus Board of Education 60 years after the fact. Unless he's talking about that, I'm not sure that I think he's doubling down on failed policies. I think that's what his aim is. And so I don't think there's a lot there in terms of the substance of his argument or the means to the particular ends he desires. We've been trying what he is implicitly suggesting.
I cherish women.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Another Black Lives Matter activist really isn't black at all. Is that a problem? But first, here's your forecast today. Mostly sunny, breezy, a high of 74 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low of 54, pleasant. And then tomorrow, just another beautiful day, mostly sunny skies, a high of 72. Let's get the travel times and see how the inbound Kennedy is shaping up. Here's Dominique Fortini, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
So far, so good on that inbound side of the Kennedy. 20 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 10 in from the Junction 8 and the inbound Express. You continue to have the exit ramp shut down to eastbound Congress. That'll be in place until next Monday. The outbound side gets a little slow approaching the Junction into Sayre. Not much of a big time delay yet there. Inbound Ike, half hour, Thorndale into the post office. Inbound Stevenson slows up near Harlem, 41 minutes, 355 into Lakeshore. The inbound side of the Rhine at 23 minutes from 95th into downtown. Watch for some troubles on the inbound side of the Bishop Ford. Brake lights begin near 115th. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Thanks to all of you, our listeners, who have purchased thousands of MyPillows over the last 18 months and are enjoying your best sleep ever. Congratulations. But that still leaves thousands of you who haven't taken advantage of the buy one, get one free offer. What are you waiting for? It is so important to get a great night's sleep. It helps with your chronic neck and back pain. If you have problems snoring, if you have allergies, a MyPillow is perfect for you. So don't wait any longer. As I mentioned, it also helps MyPillow with headaches, and it conforms to your neck and back, so you will get the best sleep ever. Plus, MyPillow is washable and keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it was named the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer, just visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Please use the promo code Amy. Do it now and start sleeping better tonight. 800-489-0201 or online at mypillow.com. Promo code Amy, 800-489-0201.
On Monday, September 29th, 2008, the Dow fell 777 points. It was the largest single-day loss ever recorded. Experts estimate that $1.2 trillion in market value was lost. It was a crushing blow for anyone invested in the stock market. Once again, the Dow is at an all-time high. So the question is, can you afford another devastating loss right now? Or is it time to take some chips off the table? Discover how to position and protect your retirement savings with a complimentary savings optimization report from Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, right here on 560 The Answer. This report reveals customized strategies on how to make your money work for you while minimizing your risk. To get your customized report, call 630-873-6326. That's 630-873-6326. That's 630-873-6326.
As a business owner, you understand that first impressions are everything. Keeping a professional company image can mean the difference between closing that big deal in your conference room or not. Executive Green Carpet Cleaning understands what it takes to create and maintain that image. In fact, more than 300 Chicagoland businesses trust Executive Green to keep their company's offices looking fresh, clean, and new. Whether you have a one-location office or a large commercial facility, Executive Green will clean and maintain your commercial carpet, office furniture, and even your restroom tile and grout. Their Eco Green cleaner won't leave a toxic residue, which is good for your employees and clients. Don't let coffee stains in dirty, high-traffic areas ruin your image. Let Executive Green restore and renew your office or retail location. Call today for a free estimate at 708-599-5151. That's 708-599-5151. Serving the city and suburbs. Visit their website at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Asurion total equipment coverage as of April 10th, 2015.
Getting a new Galaxy, iPhone, or other smartphone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting your new smartphone is a smart idea. But if you have insurance from one of those big cell phone companies, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance from Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carriers can cost you as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade phone protection is less than $5 a month with a much lower deductible. We can save you over $240. And switching to SquareTrade is easy. Even if you're locked into a 2-year phone contract with Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carrier, you can cancel their phone insurance anytime. We'll even show you how.
Switch to SquareTrade now and save over $240. Visit SquareTrade.com. That's SquareTrade.com.
SquareTrade!
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Amy, you're supposed to correct me on these things when I misspeak. I mentioned Northeastern University because that's where this Theodore Johnson, who wrote the piece in the Washington Post about making blacks, giving blacks 5/3 of the vote, and because they were treated as 3/5 of a person. Mm-hmm. Doctoral candidate in law and policy at Northeastern University. I said Black Bears. Obviously, that's the University of Maine, the Northeastern Huskies.
How are you going to live with yourself the rest of the day? I mean, that is a monumental mistake.
It
it's
is
worse
a mistake.
Than
it is a mistake, and I apologize to our listening audience for that egregious error.
And I apologize for butchering the president of France's name, Francois Hollande.
Hollande. So Black Lives Matter, even if you're white.
Yeah, I couldn't believe this story. Black Lives Matter activist Shaun King, remember him? His face was everywhere. He was in Ferguson, Missouri. He was on all the cable stations. Always, a huge activist behind Black Lives Matter and the hashtag.
And it turns out that this is Soul Man meets a different world.
Well, this might be worse than Rachel Dolezal. Remember her? She pretended to be black, and actually she has 2 white parents from Montana.
She's a senator from Massachusetts.
No.
Oh, no, that's the Indian. Got it. Okay.
No, it turns out that Shaun King, his dad, not black. His mom, white. His dad is white. And all along he's maintained that he's biracial. But Don Lemon, who is actually friends and friendly with Shaun King, called it out on the show last night and said, listen, I spoke with his parents and someone in his family, and both of his parents are white. And that's, if you want to pretend to be black, I guess what freedom of expression, you have a right to do that. But when he was in high school, he claimed that he was the victim of a racial beating by a bunch of white kids. And it turns out that he's white himself. And the New York Times, they found the investigator, the police officer who investigated that alleged hate crime. And he said, when I was dealing with it, it wasn't a hate crime because Shaun King's white. We knew Shaun King was white.
Right.
He's just later on in life pretended to be black because he got a scholarship,
Well, this
an
is
Oprah Winfrey scholarship to go to Morehouse.
Right. So that's fraud.
So
That's
is
fraud.
that
Well,
fraud? Does he have to pay back
I
Oprah
don't-
Winfrey
well,
and
it's
the
up-
scholarship?
It's up to the foundation. It's up to Oprah and the foundation, as every decision is up to Oprah. So we'll see what she decides to do. Now, on the flip side of this, we have a Ferguson mom, Peggy Hubbard. I want to listen to Peggy Hubbard because she took to Facebook, posted a video of herself. She lives in Ferguson. She's African American, and she has a message to the Black Lives Matter crowd and the protesters in Ferguson.
News broke out about a 9-year-old girl in Ferguson died in a drive-by shooting. In her room, doing her homework, she dies by a stray bullet to the chest. Last night, who do you think they protested for? The thug, the criminal. Because they're hollering police brutality. Are you kidding me? Police brutality? How about black brutality? You black people, my black people, you are the most violent I have ever seen in my life. A little girl is dead. You say Black Lives Matter? Her life mattered. Her dreams matter. Her future mattered. Her promises matter. It mattered. Yet you trifling are out there tearing up the neighborhood I grew up in.
Hashtag Peggy Hubbard.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Banks have been foreclosing on people's homes at an unprecedented rate. Enough is enough. It's time to fight back and level the playing field. The attorneys of Bridges & O and Associates have an intense understanding of foreclosure law. Experienced attorneys will passionately litigate against and negotiate with your bank for a permanent loan restructuring. They are proud to help educate and protect families, keeping you in your home, reducing your stress, and giving you time to get back on your feet. Don't just sit there and lose your home. They can put you back in control. Get the upper hand when negotiating with your bank with their free evaluation. Then Bridges & O and Associates will develop a plan that will help your family now, 3 months from now, 3 years from now, even 5 years from now. Call 224-513-1231 or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense law firm. 224-513-1231 or FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Bridges & O and Associates. You have rights. Don't give up your home.
Hey, if your company manufactures or markets pharmaceuticals, biologics, medical devices, or APIs, you know the challenges of systems integration, FDA compliance, and staffing. To gain access to Chicagoland's top life sciences engineering, quality assurance, project management, regulatory, software, and validation professionals, you need the experts at Automated Systems, Inc. All of ASI's resources are degreed professionals with decades of industry experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For over a quarter of a century, ASI has excelled through a culture of execution and client success. For information about staffing or a no-obligation compliance or automation evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems toll-free at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
300 cities, all 50 states, Planned Parenthood protests on Saturday, and the release of video number 8, we'll have it at 6:36.
And then Ashley Madison clients revealed one's a politician, and he's come forward with a public apology. You'll hear it here. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Sunrise, 60 degrees. France placing its highest honor on 3 Americans and a Briton who overpowered a man about to shoot at passengers on a train traveling to Paris. U.S. Ambassador to France, Jane Hartley, calls the 3 young Americans truly heroes.
I know these young men sitting with me won't like it because even in the brief period we've known each other, they are so humble.
Spencer Stone, Alex Scarlatos, Anthony Sadler downplayed their actions, describing their experiences at a news conference in Paris. British authorities say the death toll could rise to 20 after a jet from an airshow crashed onto a major highway. It was a vintage jet performing in the Shoreham Airshow that crashed on a busy road in Sussex. Wall Street prepping for what appears to be another rough day following sell-offs in overseas markets, including a major down day in China. IndyCar driver Justin Wilson is in critical condition this morning and in a coma after being hit by debris during a race at Pennsylvania's Pocono Raceway. Louisiana State Trooper has severe brain damage after being shot in the head during a traffic stop. It happened as veteran trooper Stephen Vincent pulled over a man who then pulled out a sawed-off shotgun.
Watched that truck door came open, and I saw a shotgun blast. This guy was carrying a sawed-off shotgun. Let me tell you something. That shotgun wasn't to do anything else but hurt somebody.
State Police Superintendent Michael Edmondson and two men driving by are heroes. They stopped. They wrestled that shotgun away from Kevin Daigle and then slapped the handcuffs on him. Players are calling on Major League Baseball this morning to extend safety netting down the baselines after a weekend that saw two fans hit by foul balls and another by a piece of a bat. The latest happened yesterday at Wrigley Field, where the Cubs were hosting Atlanta. First inning line drive struck a woman who was sitting a few rows behind the first base dugout. She was taken out on a stretcher. There's a major announcement at the University of Illinois this morning, ready to honor its all-time winningest basketball coach today. Sources telling us the school is expected to name the court at the State Farm Center after Hall of Fame coach Lou Henson. There is a 1 o'clock press conference this afternoon for that major announcement. A woman, a well-known anti-violence activist in Chicago, grieving the loss of his daughter this morning. Andrew Holmes says his daughter Tamara Sword was killed Saturday in Indianapolis. So far, no one arrested. Two are hospitalized after being shot in a South Shore neighborhood. A man and woman shot Saturday in the 7,000 block of South Merrill. Police say an investigation is ongoing. Chicago sports, Cubs over Atlanta 9-3, Seattle over the White Sox 8-6. The news, a service of the City of Chicago and Cook County. Suspicious activity can be found anywhere. Help keep our community safe. 855-RPRT-2S4 if you see something. From the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications and the Cook County Department of Homeland Security. 6:34 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager wants the left to think big picture.
Wendy's, like McDonald's, is deciding that they can't afford $15 an hour, and so what they will do is put kiosks. You will have virtually no interaction with a human being because human beings are too expensive, thanks to liberals. This should be one of the mottos of the left. We don't care what happens next.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Youth Outreach Services matches Chicago teens in need with loving foster homes. Visit YOS.org to find out more. We'll give you a hand so you can give your heart.
Having a great smile to show off makes you feel good. There's no embarrassment associated with being able to flash your pearly whites whenever you want. If you'd like to feel that comfort and confidence with your smile, there's only one person who can help you. Dr. Neruzzi of Fox River Periodontics.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one, I was happy with it, so I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful, they're just like your real teeth, and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth, or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. He'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
At LifeQuotes.com, we've solved the worst problem there is with buying life insurance, the medical exam. At LifeQuotes.com, you can instantly compare the rates of 50 leading life insurance companies and buy online from the company of your choice. For example, a healthy male, age 30, can now apply for $400,000 of high-quality, no-exam term life insurance for less than $35 per month. Females pay even less. LifeQuotes.com is online, private, and convenient. Want more good news? life insurance rates are now at all-time lows. At lifequotes.com, we make it easy to search the life insurance market in seconds, view the lowest possible rates, and apply online to the company of your choice. Visit lifequotes.com today to see how much you could save. Plan availability varies by state. Lifequotes.com, or call us at 1-800-640-LIFE. That's 1-800-640-LIFE.
637, the news is a service of Stand Up to Cancer. Let's get an update on the roads now in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim Telemonte this morning, here's Dominic Fortini.
Starting to see traffic volume on the rise on the inbound side of the Kennedy. Backups begin right around North Avenue into the Burn Circle. 25 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 15 in from the Junction, 8 in the inbound Express. The ramp to eastbound Congress shut down until next Monday. However, the ramp to the outbound Ike is open. Outbound side of the Kennedy at 40 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Tie-ups begin right near Armitage and slows again right near the Junction. We got an accident southbound Route 53 just past Thorndale, blocking off the left lane. That'll slow traffic on the inbound side of the Eisenhower Manheim into First Avenue. 34 minutes Thorndale to the post office. The outbound side hits the brakes central to 5th. We've got a crash blocking off the left lane. 41 minutes from the post office to Thorndale. Watch for delays on the inbound Ryan. 23 minutes 95th to downtown. This traffic report's a service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Someone you know suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they won't be able to get out of bed. Help someone you know and support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America at ccfa.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast also includes a heavy dose of sprinkling your lawn this week. Sunny all week long. Next chance of rain probably late Friday night. We'll have 74 today, 54 overnight, and 72 tomorrow. 56 at O'Hare, sunshine. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Stan and Amy. Amy, before we get to the Planned Parenthood matter, just a point of personal privilege. Congratulations to Lou Henson. On Mike Scott had the story at the court, basketball court being named after him down in Champaign.
Yeah.
Fighting Illini. It was a great recruiter, good bench coach. Not a great bench coach, but a great recruiter. Some great Illini teams during the Lou Henson era.
And they later went on to New Mexico State.
Correct.
Because that's where I met him.
And also, too, just kind of a footnote,
Yeah.
I also, a personal thank you to Lou Henson.
Why?
For
Not
being,
recruiting you?
No, for being a fearless icon for men who have hair that is so bad it looks like a toupee. As somebody who suffers that affliction.
Well,
although,
on some days you do.
Well,
Today it looks good. And I like your shirt, by the way.
Well,
or blouse, or what do you call it? Shirt.
It's an outfit that I wear. It's an outfit. To be full disclosure, my hair is a toupee. But I mean, I understand that.
Uh-huh.
I had the Joe Biden treatment done here. So, but anyway, Lou Henson being honored.
Congratulations to Lou.
Congratulations, Lou Henson. Here's a story that wasn't covered over the weekend by old media. This is a story of like 1,600 people out in Aurora, outside the Planned Parenthood super facility in Aurora protesting. And at over 300 clinics in all 50 states, you had protests on Saturday, National Day of Protest Against Planned Parenthood. 300 clinics, 50 states. And if you weren't paying attention in the blogosphere, you probably were unaware of this because the networks and even, of course, some of the cable news channels like MSNBC, of course, we're not covering this because
too far of a drive from Chicago.
Yes. Not a big enough story. It's not like it's a national story where you have people trying to defund Planned Parenthood at the federal level and it's interjected itself into a presidential campaign. It's not like that's happening. So you don't have to cover it. Also, this, which was not covered, court removed an injunction on Planned Parenthood video. L.A. Superior Court Judge Joanne O'Donnell ruled Friday afternoon The Center for Medical Progress has First Amendment rights to release videos it covertly took of STEM Express executives talking about buying aborted baby tissue from Planned Parenthood. And the Center for Medical Progress subsequently and immediately released video number 8, which is a bit of a trailer. It's a compilation of a lot of the highlights that we have heard. I mean, lowlights that we've heard in these videos. Right. And so,
do we meet any new doctors or
we meet Kate Dyer, who has been referenced by Holly O'Donnell. Holly O'Donnell is the former procurement tech featured in the last 3 videos, who worked at STEM Express, which is the company that sued to enjoin the Center for Medical Progress from releasing these videos. Well, that's not working out so well for them. So you meet Kate Dyer, but here's the video. It's a little 2-minute compilation, so it's not a lot of new ground that's plowed here, but just to remember some of the highlights. So, for example, Melissa Farrell, who's Melissa Farrell is the Planned Parenthood Research Director for Gulf Coast.
We are able to obtain intact fetal cadavers. It's all just a matter of line items. Mm-hmm.
Just a matter of line items. You remember that one. Here's another instant classic. This is Dr. Mary Gatter, who's the Planned Parenthood Medical Directors Council President. So these are higher-ups at Planned Parenthood. It's not like one-off employees.
And are we agreed that $100 would keep you happy?
I want a Lamborghini. I said I want a Lamborghini.
Don't we all, right? Dr. Gatter, right, the one who wants the Lamborghini. But they're, these are just transaction costs. They're not making money trafficking illegally in baby body parts. Of course not. And here is the aforementioned Kate Dyer, who's the STEM Express CEO that was referenced by Holly O'Donnell in previous videos.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you had intact cases, which we've done a lot, so we've sometimes shipped those back to our lab in its entirety. Tell the lab it's coming. Then I'll open the box. Oh, God.
Yeah, laughing about an intact cadaver, which means a dead baby, fully formed, like the one we saw in the last Planned Parenthood video, being shipped back to the lab. That is humorous to Kate Dyer.
Oh, yeah, well, she's sipping on her wine and having her salad.
Yeah.
At least she's eating healthy,
It's all good fun. She doesn't look particularly healthy. She does look particularly ghoulish, like most of these people do. I mean, in context, how could you not see them in that light? Interestingly, too, something is happening in the body politic. Mark Kirk may want to take note of this. Before the release of these videos, so the 8th video on Friday, before the release of the first 7 videos, views of government funding for Planned Parenthood and the body politic, 54% favored funding, only 26% opposed funding. Now that people, at least some people, despite the blackout by old media, have seen these videos and these have gotten around virally, that has changed. Now it's 34% support funding, 39% oppose government funding.
Good. We're making progress.
I'd say substantial progress in a short period of time because, as we've said before about this, you can choose not to do anything, but you can no longer pretend not to know what you know about how Planned Parenthood operates. And thankfully, a lot of rational Americans or reasonable people who make decisions based on the evidence are making perhaps a different decision about Planned Parenthood than they were prior to these videos. And if Senator Mark Kirk would like to keep his title, he may think about he may think about retrenching when that issue is revisited, because it's going to be revisited.
But he did author some legislation to try and close down or stop funding to those Planned Parenthoods, those facilities that are featured in the videos.
Smokescreen.
I know, but
not going to play.
And it
not
doesn't.
Play.
I am a pro-choice Republican woman, and I am horrified by those videos, and I don't want my tax dollars going to an organization like that. It's real simple, but I called them. I wrote a letter, penned a letter, and still nothing.
Old school.
Mm-hmm.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, #naughty, getting busted by the Ashley Madison client list. We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast. Today, just beautiful amounts of sunshine, a light breeze, a high of 74. Tonight, clear, a low in the 50s. And tomorrow, mostly sunny, highs again in the lower 70s. Travel times, here's Dominic Fortini.
Inbound side of the Kennedy at 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 15 in from the junction, 8 in the Express. The outbound side bulking up a tad too. Watch for thick delays, Armitage through Diversey, 40 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound side of the Ike, a little slow, Manheim to 5th. We've got a crash southbound Route 53 just beyond Thorndale. It's off on the left shoulder. Inbound Ryan at 23 minutes, 95th in at downtown. Watch for a few delays on the inbound side of the Bishop Ford. Stop and go Cottage Grove into the Ryan. Everything else continues to build across the board this morning. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report, brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Investors bracing for what could be another tumultuous week in global financial markets. The Dow Jones Industrials now in correction territory. More volatility expected on Wall Street. Those stories next.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots, but doctors have discovered they're unable to reverse or control serious side effects, such as internal bleeding caused by Xarelto. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. If you or a loved one was hospitalized for any form of internal bleeding or stroke after taking Xarelto, you may be entitled to a cash award and substantial financial compensation. There's limited time to file a claim, so call 800-974-5641 now. Call 800-974-5641. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-974-5641. That's 800-974-5641. Again, 800-974-5641.
Wall Street investors are bracing for what could be another day of dramatic volatility. Global growth concerns turning into fear and pushing the Dow Jones Industrials last week and the Nasdaq into correction territory. The S&P lost more than $1 trillion in market cap last week alone. No major economic reports out today, so it's possible stock and commodity prices in this country will be influenced by trading in overseas markets. Crude oil prices under $41 a barrel, falling for an 8th straight week, and investors seeking safe haven are likely to drive gold and bond markets higher. Gold had its strongest weekly performance in more than 7 months. The 10-year Treasury yield now at a 4-month low, under 2.1%. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern, on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You know what I love about summer? Baseball. You know what I love about baseball? It's a game of probability. You know what I love about my team? Not much, because baseball is a game of probability. The odds of our starting pitcher lasting 3 innings? Slim. The likelihood we'll be mathematically eliminated before July? High. Okay, so maybe I'm not a fan of the probability of my team going above 500. But I am a fan of the fact that with some planning and a little help, I was able to influence the probability that I could retire and stay retired. Maybe our pitcher should consider retirement. Just saying.
Ready to make the game-changing decision to put a plan in place for your retirement? The Mutual Fund Store can help you do just that. Connect with us today for a free review of your investment portfolio or a second opinion on your investments. The person you'll be having a cup of coffee with is right here.
Hi, I'm Steve Jack with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-433-7114. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-433-7114. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-433-7114. That's 1-800-433-7114.
AM 560. The Answer.
Yikes. Remember Casey Anthony, and remember the prosecutor, the state's attorney, Jeff Ashton? He was at the forefront. He was going to get her, and that case didn't work out too well. But So people know who Jeff Ashton is. He's state attorney for Orange County. Lives in Orlando.
Nobody knows who he is.
You don't know who he was?
No.
Oh, when I heard
Nobody
his name,
remembers.
it rung a bell. But he's making news this morning because he's been busted in that Ashley Madison hack where millions of men's names and credit cards
and women
were released. And a few women.
Most of them fake, but some actual women. It was about... I love one of the other complaints of the hackers, in addition to not having their profiles removed when they paid the fee to have them removed. One of the other complaints was, hey, wait, there's, it's like 10 to 1 men to women on this site. Gee, that's a real surprise, isn't it? There's some people who don't understand human nature.
In case you don't know, Ashley Madison is a website where you're married, but you're still looking for some fun on the side. Well, it's not fun and games anymore because Jeff Ashton has been busted. He came forward. Grab your tissues, and he tried to apologize.
2 years ago, I was curious about the Ashley Madison website, and I used my personal credit card to sign up for the site. I deeply regret my affiliation with the site, which has caused a great amount of stress and heartache to my wife and children. I want to publicly apologize to each of them for this embarrassment and for my blatant disregard for their feelings.
Jeff Ashton at clintonmail.com. That was his email address?
Stop it. But he said that he used his personal computer, Dan. He didn't use the state's computer.
Because that's the problem. As long as this wasn't done at state time, it's not a big deal.
During his lunch break.
While I indulged my curiosity about the site, it never went beyond that. While no laws have been broken, these were incredibly stupid choices. I asked for the public's forgiveness for my shortcomings, but those choices have had absolutely no impact on the performance of my official duties.
Sure, I'll let criminals off, whether I'm on Ashley Madison or not. He was on Ashley Madison during the defense's closing argument in the Casey Anthony case,
yeah,
right?
And people were wondering, what is he looking at
Sure.
in the courtroom there? But of course now he's saying this kind of information will, give his political opponents
why does
reason to attack.
Why does he need the public's... I'm saying nobody knows who you are. Why the public's
I know who he
forgiveness?
was. I followed the Casey Anthony trial.
Yeah, okay. Well,
of course I did.
You and, the Nancy Grace watchers across the country. But, I mean, other than that,
well, he's
the
still,
public's forgiveness.
Yeah, he needs, because it's, he's a politician. He was voted into office, and he wants to remain in office. But again, this is going to fuel the fire of his political opponents.
I regret that I have given ammunition to those who seek to discredit the work our office does. I am proud of the work and what we've accomplished thus far, but today I'm not very proud of myself.
Really? He went with the whimpering at the end?
Started crying, dropped the mic, said, I'm out of here. So far, his wife is standing by her man.
Okay, Mrs. Spitzer.
Because he said he was just, indulging his curiosity that he never clicked pay, which is such a joke because he signed up for an account, obviously, because you got busted, dude.
He's a curious guy. He's curious.
Indulge my curiosity. I think that's going to be the name of my new band.
Or Ashley Madison, because I think Ashley Madison is going to go away. This other story in Time, Ashley Madison facing a $578 million class action lawsuit. 2 Canadian law firms representing Canucks that are upset that their privacy was not protected by Ashley Madison. Think how U.S. taxpayers feel about the IRS or intelligence operators think about the Office of Personnel Management. Join the club, Canadian citizens.
And somebody else who was outed by this Ashley Madison hack was Josh Duggar. You know him?
Yeah, Josh Duggar at clintonmail.com.
Yeah, the star of 19 Kids and Counting, who was not charged, but was involved maybe in sexually molesting 5 underage girls. We heard their sisters come forward. Well, it turns out that he had not 1, but 2 Ashley Madison accounts. And now he's come forward saying he's an addiction to pornography. And yes, he was cheating on his wife.
This is going to be difficult because we have about 30 million more of these press conferences to go. So let's pace ourselves.
Oy. Vey.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Painting is personal. That's why I chose CertaPro to do some painting. And it's not too late to get on their painting schedule. Get your home looking picture perfect for summer entertaining and fall football. And summer is also time to get that exterior painting off your to-do list. Schedule your exterior painting to coincide with your summer vacation. You'll come back renewed, refreshed to a fresh, new, beautiful coat of paint on your home. With CertaPro, you get the best of both worlds. They're the biggest painting company in America, yet they're also your neighborhood painter. CertaPro brings expertise, security, and quality to you to ensure your complete satisfaction for a job you'll be proud of and want to show off to your neighbors. Here's what you do. Go to CertaPro.com, that's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, Certa with a C. CertaPro, because painting, it's personal.
We've been hearing a lot about Uber lately, so we decided to get out there and talk to some actual Uber partners to get our questions answered.
Is signing up to drive with Uber really hard?
Nope, signing up with Uber is super easy.
It was simple and easy. Okay, but can I drive my own car?
Yes. You get to drive your own car.
But my roommate doesn't even have a car. Can she drive with Uber?
They can help her get a car too.
I wouldn't be able to get a vehicle if it wasn't for Uber. It took me less than 6 hours to get a car.
So you could just sign up and earn money.
Sign up, drive, and you make some money.
You're saying I can just use the smartphone app to make money whenever I want?
Yeah, you just open the app whenever you feel like driving.
All I have to do is turn on my phone, hit the road, and I start making money.
Are the hours good?
I work less hours and I make more money.
I'm my own boss now, so I set my own hours.
Okay, this all sounds pretty great. What do you think I should do?
You need to sign up for Uber.
You can make serious life-changing money when you drive with Uber. Get started today at drivewithuber.com. That's drivewithuber.com. drivewithuber.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
New York Times bestselling author Robert Spencer joins us at 7:07 to talk Islamofascism.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Fox will have the very latest on a down day on Wall Street as we approach even more futures trading on the downside because of the trouble in China. An anti-violence activist daughter here killed in Indianapolis. With the latest on that story, Governor Rauner signs a college sexual assault law. Yes, you were not confused. Those were tornadoes in the area last week during the storms. We'll tell you where. The Cubs swept out the Braves in a weekend series. A sunny day ahead with a high of 74. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. A lot of Americans could lose a lot more money today in the stock market. Another huge sell-offs looming on Wall Street. Futures are way down again because of China.
I'm the one that says you better start uncoupling from China because China's got problems, and they have big problems, and they're bringing us down.
As Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump, markets around the world are also plunging. Fox News Radio's Simon Owens, live in London.
Dave, China's main index closing down more than 8% for the day, its biggest drop in 8 years. There's continuing a trend from last week when Chinese markets lost 11%, and that led to a worldwide sell-off. It seems investors are concerned China's economy is losing more momentum than had been expected after a 10-year boom. And attempts by the Chinese government to reassure the markets don't seem to be working. Markets across Asia closing down, also falls in the first few hours of trading here in Europe. Dave?
Yeah, Dow futures down more than 600 points now, Simon. The 3 Americans and a British man who thwarted a suspected terrorist attack on a train Friday, tackling him, cheered as heroes in France.
He had enough weapons and ammunition for
a horrendous carnage.
President Hollande, through a translator, he awarded them the Legion of Honor, France's highest distinction. A Louisiana state trooper is in critical condition with a severe head injury the morning after Stephen Vincent was shot responding to a call of an erratic driver near Bell City.
Trooper Vincent spotted that vehicle stuck in a ditch. Police say as he approached a truck to help the driver. Police video shows the man getting out of the truck with a sawed-off shotgun, firing at Vincent, shooting him in the head.
Fox's Kelly Wright. Two drivers saw what happened, stopped, and wrestled that shotgun from the suspect and used Trooper Vincent's handcuffs to subdue him. An Indy race car driver also in critical condition in a coma. Justin Wilson was hit in the head by debris from another car that crashed yesterday at Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunshine, 60 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. This morning, players are calling on Major League Baseball to extend safety netting down the baselines after a weekend that saw fans hit by foul balls and another hit by a piece of bat. The latest incident happened yesterday at Sunny Wrigley, where the Cubs were hosting Atlanta, and a first-inning line drive struck a woman sitting a few rows behind the first base dugout. She was taken to the hospital on a stretcher. University of Illinois appears ready to honor its all-time winningest basketball coach later today at 1 o'clock at a news conference. The school is expected to name the court at the new State Farm Center after Hall of Fame college basketball coach Lou Henson. A well-known anti-violence activist in Chicago grieving the loss of his daughter, Andrew Holmes, says his daughter, Tamara Sword, was killed Saturday in Indianapolis. The mother of 5 was at a gas station when an altercation led to the shooting. 2 are hospitalized after gunfire broke out in a South Shore neighborhood. A man and woman were shot Saturday in the 7,000 block of South Merrill. Hospital officials say the woman is in stable condition. The condition of the man is unknown. The National Weather Service says those were weak tornadoes that hit the ground in DuPage County last week. Daily Herald reporting that an E0 tornado stayed on the ground for about 3 miles. It's the weakest form of tornadic activity, and also an E0 tornado Tuesday night hit the ground in Downers Grove. Universities around the state are taking steps to prevent and respond to sexual assaults on campus. Governor Bruce Raunder signed a bill late last week requiring colleges to provide confidential advisors to sexual assault victims. School leaders must also give victims additional safety options like changing class schedules or campus housing. Chicago sports, Cubs over Atlanta 9-3. Chris Bryant homered twice. Seattle over the White Sox 8-6. Sox taking 2 of 3. The news service of Think It Up. At 7:04, it's time to check the climate of your business with Air Comfort and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes Hillary is in hot water.
Her campaign is now in peril. Her life outside of jail could be in jeopardy when all is said and done here. This is not a minor political controversy that's just going to go away in a few days. This is a bombshell. And I'll tell you right now, too, that I promise you this is only the tip of a very large iceberg.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Call Quicken Loans now at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
I'm terrible with money. Apparently, a PhD in physics won't help me predict the trajectory of my own retirement. So I work with TIAA-CREF. You get quality, personalized advice no matter what your balance is. For me, they make investing as easy as Newtonian physics.
Advice for everyone. One more way TIAA-CREF is created to serve and built to perform. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA-CREF Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. This testimonial is an actor portrayal. Advice is subject to institutional plan rules. Investing involves risk. Individual results will vary.
7:05. Let's get an update on the roads in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Dominic Fortini.
Traffic volume bulking up at this point of the morning. Inbound Edens at 25 minutes. Lake Cook into the junction. Inbound Kennedy, 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 20 in from Montrose, 12 in the inbound express, with outbound getting a little thicker between Armitage and the junction. 45 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound side of the Ike, stop and go Manheim to 5th. Certainly slower on the outbound side, all because of an earlier crash. We've got brake lights Costner through 5th. It's an hour from the post office to Thorndale. Northbound 55, a little bit stop and go between Route 126 and Route 53 because of an earlier crash as well. Inbound I-57 hits the brakes near 107th. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast, a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mostly sunny day today with a gusty breeze, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high of 74. Then for tonight, clear skies with a low of 54. A mostly sunny day tomorrow with a high of 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
57 at O'Hare, 59 along the lakefront, 60 at Midway. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Quick thinking and gut instinct getting the credit tonight as the three Americans who helped tackle a gunman on board a Paris-bound train described in detail, together for the first time, how they were able to subdue the shooter.
He never said a word. He just basically came in, and when he entered the car, we saw him cocking the AK-47. So at that time, it was either do something or die.
Donald, welcome to my hometown, Mobile, Alabama.
You know, if this were another country, we could maybe call for an expedited election, right? I would love that. Can we do that? Can we do that? I'd like to have the election tomorrow. I don't want to wait.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. We'll get back to, we're talking about Sean King and Rachel Dolezal.
Yeah, his second-grade pictures online. It's quite spectacular.
Make a great couple.
Yeah.
But on to more serious matters. We're now joined by Robert Spencer, who's a New York Times bestselling author. His latest book, which will go wonderful with my Infidel t-shirt, is The Complete Infidel's Guide to ISIS. Robert Spencer joins us now. Robert, thanks for joining us.
So thank you for having me on.
So, and I know you're an ally of Pam Geller, Freedom Defense Initiative. You were one of the co-founders of that organization as well, right?
That's right.
So you've been in this battle, and you've been writing about Islamofascism for some time. What is it in that we can find in The Complete Infidel's Guide to ISIS that we should know about ISIS that is not generally known in the conversation we have about Islamic terror at present?
Well, you know, Dan, it really ought to be painfully obvious to all of our elected officials, but it isn't. They have all lined up, Republicans and Democrats, to say the Islamic State is not Islamic. It has nothing to do with Islam. And unfortunately, the first adage of warfare, going back to the ancient Chinese Sun Tzu and the art of war and all that, was you have to know your enemy. And the fact is, the Islamic State is very Islamic. Everything it's doing is Islamic. I show that in the book. We have to understand that, not so that we can go around criticizing Muslims who oppose it, but so that we can understand what they're all about, what they're trying to do, and how they intend to go about it. And they've been actually very clear about their plans to sow blood and mayhem on American streets, and it's all about their guiding principles that our officials refuse to understand, but they're all in the book.
So you really believe either the Islamic State will die or we're going to die?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Islamic State has absolutely a global vision, a vision of global conquest such as that we haven't seen since Hitler's Germany or the Soviet Union. And they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep advancing. They're going to keep recruiting until they're stopped. And nobody right now seems to have the will to stop them.
Now, I want to make a distinction because I think it's a distinction you make in earlier writings, which is that there's nothing, in your view, that is inherently terrorist-driven about Islam, but that's not the same thing as pretending to ignore, as you've just described, the fact that there are terrorist groups like ISIS and others, Al-Qaeda, that are driven by their interpretation of Islam.
Well, Dan, see, the thing is that the Islamic State is able to point to teachings of the Quran and actions of Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, that call for warfare against unbelievers. Now, that's absolutely undeniable, and nobody would, in his right mind, would want to deny it, that there are many Muslims who have no intention of acting on those teachings. And yet the Islamic State is able to make recruits among young Muslims in the West. And there have been unprecedented numbers of young Muslims from the United States, from England, from France, going into Iraq and Syria and Libya to join the Islamic State because they fall for this and they see, well, yeah, the Quran does say that. Muhammad did do that. We have to get with it.
And so here's the question, though, too. I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, in terms of the size of ISIS and manpower, 50,000, 75,000 terrorists?
Yeah, well over that. Over that. You know, they have 30,000 foreign fighters.
Okay, so give me your guesstimate on the number.
About 300,000, probably.
Okay, let's say 300,000. That is still a fraction of the military might of just the Western world.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I understand. I mean, is it just a story of, look, history has always been changed by the good, or for the good or bad, by a committed minority, and you have a committed minority and an apathetic majority? Is that the story going on here?
Absolutely, Dan. You have a committed minority and an apathetic majority, and a majority that was just there and is exhausted and doesn't want to go back. I mean, you have, in other words, the great Western powers that were just in Iraq, and they left, and ISIS grew up in the vacuum. And now the last thing they want to do is go back there. And so the problem is that the people who are strong enough to take out ISIS will not, and the people who would want to take out ISIS cannot.
Now, I know a lot of Americans who travel to Rome annually for vacation. Some have put it off because they've heard ISIS wants to conquer Rome. When do you see that happening?
I see that happening sometime a lot quicker than people think. Not that they'll conquer Rome, but that they will try. One of the things that they said last year is kind of chilling in light of today's headlines, and that is that we will come to Europe in a flood of refugees. And now you see this incredible influx of refugees, much of them coming because of the strife that they created in Africa and the Middle East. And they're flooding into Italy, flooding into Europe in unprecedented numbers. And among them are many, many people who are allied with ISIS and intend to try to sow mayhem and bloodshed in Europe in the name of ISIS.
Well, and you know all those beheading videos that we see, and there have been so many of them, and it's so gruesome, and your heart aches when you watch it. Why are the victims so calm when they're being beheaded?
Amy, it looks as if that they tell them that they're going through a dry run, that they are making a video for propaganda purposes, and they actually go through that. They do that many times, and they say, now we want you to say this, and then they all go home. And the prisoner goes back to wherever he's being kept. And so the prisoners in these videos, they actually had no idea until it was far too late that this one was real.
I'm sorry, I want to go back to the Vatican. Donald Trump has said with the Pope Francis coming over that he's going to tell him that ISIS is coming for him, and you seem to suggest the same thing. I mean, are we going to have a kind of a repetition of history where you've got ISIS painting a white circle around the Vatican like the Nazis did, or the scarlet and the black here? You think that is actually imminent?
Well, they would be worse than the Nazis. The Nazis conquered all around the Vatican, but they didn't dare go in and take out the Pope. But the Islamic State, ISIS, has been very clear. As a matter of fact, there was a Polish convert to Islam who was recently videotaping for ISIS, and he said, we're going to hold mass executions in St. Peter's Square. They intend, and like I say, there's no telling that whether they'll be able to do it, but there's no doubt that they're going to try to go into the Vatican, kill the Pope, probably execute him publicly, and held mass executions there of other people that they hate as well.
Other news over the weekend, Rouhani, the president of Iran, suggesting first line is the diplomats, and if they fail, it's the generals' turn to come forward, essentially hinting that if for some reason this surrender deal that President Obama and John Kerry have negotiated is not ratified by Congress, if there are problems, that it will be Iran that moves to war, not the United States. How should we understand the Iranians in the context of ISIS in the Middle East and vis-a-vis the West?
Yeah, this is where it gets really exciting, Dan, because the Iranians hate the Islamic State. It's part of the 1,400-year-old divide between the Sunnis and the Shiites, and Iran is Shiite, and the Islamic State is Sunni. And so the Iranians would love to take out the Islamic State, but the United States and its allies in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Egypt and so on, they don't want to see the Iranians conquering the Islamic State because that would mean an exponential increase of the Iranian power. And so the Sunni regimes, Saudi Arabia and the others, Turkey and so on, they really would rather have the Islamic State than the Iranians. But it's just a bad situation for everyone, and it could engulf the whole world in war without any exaggeration because of the way that it could so quickly get out of hand and escalate.
We're talking to Robert Spencer. He's the author of The Complete Infidel's Guide to ISIS. So let me just develop this a little bit more. What about the possibility that the Iranians and their various terrorist surrogates will join with ISIS, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, for the purpose of dealing blows to the West before they fight it out amongst themselves for supremacy?
That is possible. We see that the Iranians who are Shiite are funding Hamas, which is Sunni.
Right.
But right now, they're sort of directly antagonistic because the Iraqi regime, such as it is, that controls Baghdad and southern Iraq, the one that we left in power when we withdrew, is a Shiite regime, and the Iranians are propping it up. And the Islamic State wants to take Baghdad and destroy that regime. And so the Iranians were very happy to be in control of the Shiite regime in Iraq, and they don't want to give it up. The last thing they're going to do right now is ally with the people trying to topple it.
All right, he is Robert Spencer, again, the author of The Complete Infidel's Guide to ISIS. Robert, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Blowing away the competition with the latest news and what it means for you. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine, just a gorgeous day. We'll have a slight breeze and below average temperatures for this time of year, a high of 74 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low in the 50s, so no air conditioning once again. And Tuesday looks terrific as well, mostly sunny, a high of 72. Let's now check in the travel times, and here's Dominic Fortini, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Both directions of the Edens at 24 minutes in between Lake Cook and Montrose. Inbound Kennedy, 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 20 in from the junction. 15 in the Express. You've got the exit ramp to eastbound Congress. That remains closed until next Monday. However, the ramp to the outbound Ike remains open. Outbound Kennedy jamming up Armitage to Montrose. 45 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound Ike on the brakes right around Manheim, it looks like, in Independence. Outbound side of the Stevenson slow rolling Damon to Cicero. Also having problems on the inbound side of the Ryan. It's 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Watch for brake lights to click on right about the Stevenson. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
So often on the show, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. And in this show, because there's always so much going on, we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. We have to talk about Ashley Madison. That's one of the reasons I'm involved with a new website, along with the Illinois Policy Institute, called Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com. At Upstream Ideas, you'll find information that will inform some of the policy discussions that we're having here on this show and elsewhere. At Upstream Ideas, we want to broaden the parameters of debate and move beyond the same old partisan assumptions. We want to challenge accepted orthodoxies, and we debunk some of the faulty premises that inform the rules on which our free society is based. In other words, we're pushing against the current and thinking upstream. We'll ask, why are conditions the way they are, and how can those conditions be improved? So go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. With each visit to Upstream Ideas, you'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1490. That's 1-800-663-1490. 1-800-663-1490.
AM 560 The Answer wants you to know that we value your opinion and loyalty. That's why we're giving you the chance to win $5,000 just by answering a few simple questions about why you listen. Now, $5,000 could make one of your dreams come true. Take that vacation you've been dreaming about, pay off bills, throw a huge party, or put a down payment on a car. Just visit 560theanswer.com and click on the Dreams Come True banner for your chance to win.
Summer is here, and your business can't afford mechanical issues with its HVAC system. You also don't want just anyone doing the job. When you want the best trained and skilled team, you want Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading full-service mechanical HVAC and refrigeration provider. Each year, Air Comfort invests in ongoing staff training to keep up with changes in technology and products. Why is training so important? Because Air Comfort understands that doing the job the right way the first time is just the beginning of a long-term relationship with its clients. That's why Air Comfort is a proud supporter of the UA Standard of Excellence and is certified as a star contractor by MSCA. With more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby to serve your HVAC needs. For more than 80 years, Air Comfort has earned the trust of thousands of customers with businesses just like yours. To find out more, call 708-345-1900 or visit them online at aircomfort.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's almost time for the kids to go back to school, go back to college,
I know.
or perhaps embark on their freshman year of college. Big Ten schools like, say, Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights, now a Big Ten school.
I still can't accept that. And what, Maryland's in there too?
Yes,
it was hard enough with Penn
Terrapins.
State, okay? But now I've sort of accepted the Nittany Lions. Now
Yes.
Rutgers. Ugh.
Yes. Well,
Want to go to a Rutgers game with me?
you may know Rutgers as a Big Ten school,
Yes.
but you may know it more recently as a school that would not allow Condi Rice, or rescinded the invitation for Condoleezza Rice to give the schools
A commencement speech.
address.
Yeah. Why? What was it again? What was their point of contention that she?
I
didn't-
think she hates black people. I think that's what they said.
Black females. Yeah. That's
mhm.
it.
Also, this is the university, Big Ten school.
Stop it.
You know, not
There's 12 schools in the Big Ten.
not a cheap date,
No,
Rutgers. Not a cheap date. And the resolution passed by student government there at Rutgers need more mascot diversity at Rutgers.
Wait a minute.
No, you need more mascot diversity. The Scarlet Knight is too white and too male, and nobody hates white males more than I do. I loathe white males, so I understand where the student government is going.
Wait, is this a radio bit or is this?
No, this is no.
We need more diversity in the mascots.
More mascot diversity. You haven't been following this burgeoning call for more mascot diversity?
If they touch my Herky the Hawkeye, they're going to have troubles.
Yeah, that is also too
That
white
is-
and too
it's
male.
a chicken clock. Why
And
don't-
it's too chickeny as well. More animal diversity there.
I mean, his head's big, but that's all right. So is Donald Trump.
You need a Cecil the Lion tail on him, and then it'll pass muster. The resolution that the student government passed at Rutgers, the current mascot, the Scarlet Knight, should be
Yes.
joined by several additional Scarlet Knights.
Oh my God! So are the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, Gladys and the Scarlet Knights.
The
I see what
Pips?
I did that. So several additional Scarlet Knights who are black, Hispanic, female, even a third gender.
A third? Are you got to be kidding me?
A Caitlin Scarlet Knight, though no exact lineup is specified. So they're very open. We just need the Scarlet Knights to have kind of a kick line representing all of the manifestations of humanity.
For those
at
of you
present.
who want to know what the Scarlet Knight from Rutgers looks like, he's similar to the Michigan State Spartan, only he's wearing red instead of green. But he has the
Yes.
same big helmet and the cheesy smile and the mad, like,
Yes.
Evil eyes. It's the
he's-
same thing.
Right. He's a white male oppressor, is what you're saying.
So they
and
want
that's exactly
to
what
have
the
a
student body
Hispanic
said.
version of this and an African American version of this guy?
Yeah, he needs some friends to, represent the Roy G. Biv, the visible light spectrum here, and the visible gender spectrum,
Maybe
apparently.
Sean King can apply to be the mascot. at
Sure he
Rutgers.
can. Yeah.
Too soon. Sorry.
And then there's this. So that's just a little background on what's been going down at Rutgers. And here's this. The Rutgers, we talked about this last week. New Hampshire, University of New Hampshire publishing the Bias-Free Language Guide. You think that's an isolated incident? A Guide to Preventing Bias Incidents, published by Rutgers University, warns students that the idea of free speech is a lie.
Really?
There is no such thing as free speech, quote-unquote free speech. All speech has a cost and consequences. Opens the page dedicated to the school's Bias Prevention and Education Committee. Written by George Orwell, apparently. The page, maintained by the school's Office of Student Affairs, encourages students to, quote, think before you speak. Well, that's always good advice, including by the school's Bias Prevention and Education Committee, and also offers 4 other core suggestions to avoid the specter of bias incidents. Engage. Join activities, programs, courses, and practices that promote diversity and social justice. This is coming from the university. Lose stereotypes about any group. There's no such thing as a positive stereotype. I don't know about that.
That's not true.
All stereotypes are inherently negative, hurtful, and damaging. Also, you want to know what a bias incident is, don't you?
Yes, Dan, I'm chomping at the bit. I'm frothing at the mouth right now.
Well,
Tell
you're
me.
in luck. Bias acts are... I got to take a deep breath here.
Don't get your new shirt dirty.
Verbal, written, physical, psychological acts that threaten or harm a person or a group on the basis of race, religion, color, sex, age, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, national origin, ancestry, disability, marital status, civil union status, domestic partnership status, atypical heredity or cellular blood trait, military service, or veteran status. Thank you. So just think about all of those things before you utter a word if you're wandering around looking for the Latino Scarlet Knight. Ralph and Mokina, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Ditch their current crop of mascots and just get the Teletubbies in there, because just like that long statement that you read, they could just scroll that across their bellies as they run around various fields and courts and whatnot.
And Paul pick flowers.
Thank
yes.
you. Thank you, Ralph. Chuck and Delavan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello?
Chuck, you're on.
Hey, yeah, this is Chuck from Delavan.
Yeah, I know.
So they're going to be disappointed when they get down to Lafayette, because there's nobody more lily white than Purdue Pete. And they're going to have to see like any of the people up in Wisconsin either when they get over there to see our Badger up there.
Yeah, Bucky the Badger.
I love Bucky.
Is he's thanks for the
he's
call,
hot.
Chuck. He's going to have to go the wayside too. He's a little bit
Oh, stop it.
He looks like a
ethno-America centric though, isn't it?
I don't know.
That doesn't represent all the animals in the kingdom.
No, stop it. We got the best text message, though. 12 schools. Amy, what about Nebraska? I know math is very hard for you. There's 13 schools in the Big Ten. Okay, not 12.
What about Nebraska? That's their state motto.
What in the hell's diversity?
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If the battery pack in your hybrid fails, that can be a huge unexpected expense. Dan Proft here for Midwest Performance Cars. In addition to complete maintenance and repair of European automobiles, Midwest Performance Cars is a certified hybrid shop location. Their technicians have undergone extensive training and can test and recondition your Toyota or Honda hybrid battery pack at a price hundreds less than your dealer. MPC can also perform a comprehensive pre-purchase inspection on hybrid vehicles and provide an accurate assessment of the health of your hybrid battery pack. The longevity of battery packs is a known drawback of a hybrid vehicle. Midwest Performance Cars offers an exclusive technology that can restore your battery to over 95% of its original performance. Take your hybrid to the dealership with a check engine light and they'll probably tell you that you need a new battery, costing you $3,000 to $5,000. With MPC's battery conditioning technology, you could potentially save up to 50%, keeping thousands of dollars in your pocket. They're located in Chicago's West Loop at the corner of Lake and Ogden. Free Lyft and Uber shuttle service available. Online at MidwestPerformanceCars.com. Midwest Performance Cars, the dealer alternative, an expert source for European auto maintenance and repair.
Hi, this is Shalom Klein of Get Down to Business, the show for small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship.
powered by Tandem HR.
The way you are buying your investments could be a major wealth leak, especially if you buy fee-heavy mutual funds. According to Everett Wealth Solutions, knowing just how much you are paying for your investments is crucial. Do your homework. Over a 30-year period of time, you could be losing $300,000 or more. That's money that should be in your retirement account, not the mutual fund company coffers. Everett says to consider robo-advising, a system that uses algorithms to invest in low-cost ETFs or exchange-transferred funds. You get intelligent, cost-effective design, which can improve performance and help eliminate expensive wealth leaks. Work with a fiduciary advisor who will educate you and recommend what is always in your best interest. For more tips, advice, and stories of entrepreneurial successes, listen to Get Down to Business with me, Shalom Klein, heard Sunday evenings at 6. Your Business Minute of the Day is brought to you by Everett Wealth Solutions.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's actually 14 schools in the Big Ten. Penn State's 11, Nebraska's 12, Maryland 13, Rutgers 14.
Who can keep track? There should be 13. Northwestern should be kicked out.
Yeah. Go, Dan, go.
Yes, speaking as an alumnus. Coming up at 7:37, Ruben Navarrete, Nationally Syndicated columnist, joins us. He has been pro-choice for the past 30 years, and he's not sure he can continue to be. He'll explain.
And then upscale shopping at Goodwill. It's coming to a town near you. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Sunshine, 59 degrees. Wall Street preparing for what looks to be a very rough day. A reporter in New York this morning is Terry Sheridan, who's looking at the drop in the futures markets.
Now futures are down 400 points as markets fell sharply in Asia and then Europe with concerns over the state of the Chinese economy. The Shanghai stock market dropped 8.5%, erasing all its gains for the year. Stock markets in Europe fell about 3%. Friday, both the Dow Jones and Nasdaq entered into what some analysts are calling a market correction. Analysts are also concerned about the falling price of oil, which is under $45 a barrel for the first time since 2008. Terry Sheridan, New York.
No one injured, lots of damage after an explosion at a U.S. Army base in Japan. The explosion blew out windows and doors and collapsed half a building. It stored compressed nitrogen and oxygen. Emergency workers continue to pick through the wreckage of a vintage fighter jet today that crashed on a freeway in southwest England. The death toll between 11 and 20. 3 Americans and a Briton overpowered a man about to shoot at passengers on a train are now wearing France's highest honor. French President Francois Hollande presented the Legion of Honor to American boyhood friends Alex Scarlatos, Spencer Stone, and Anthony Sadler this morning.
I know these young men sitting with me won't like it because even in the brief period we've known each other, they are so humble.
U.S. Ambassador to France, Jane Hartley. 2 climbers are dead after falling nearly 200 feet in the Grand Tetons over the weekend. The National Park Service says the pair was trying to reach the 12,330-foot summit when they fell Saturday. Players are calling on Major League Baseball this morning to extend safety netting down the baselines after a weekend that saw fans hit by foul balls, one at Wrigley Field yesterday. A well-known anti-violence activist in Chicago grieving the loss of his daughter, Andrew Holmes, says his daughter, Tamara Sword, was killed Saturday in Indianapolis after an altercation led to a shooting. And universities in Chicago are taking steps to prevent and respond to sexual assaults on campus. Bruce Rauner signing the bill late last week, which requires colleges to provide confidential advisors to sexual assault victims. Cubs over Atlanta 9-3. Seattle beat the White Sox 8-6. The news, a service of Think It Up. 7:34 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The 1-year anniversary of what? A young thug got shot and killed.
The Joe Walsh Show.
A year later, we're honoring him. A year later, Ferguson again is burning. Ferguson is looting, shooting at police officers. We've learned nothing. We've learned absolutely nothing in a year.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
At Galaxy, they'll help make the house you have into the home you love. Right now, get kitchen or bath cabinets 2 for the price of 1. Contact Galaxy 773-783-8300 or GalaxyHome.com.
You've been thinking about switching to solar. Don't wait much longer or you'll miss out on this year's federal tax credit. Move quickly because the tide is turning. Solar power's becoming a threat to big energy profits. In fact, some power companies are even pushing for extra fees to make up for lost revenue. Warning, you must have your solar system up and running by midnight December 31st or you'll miss out on this year's federal tax credit. Energy prices are expected to increase by as much as 40% in the near future. Go solar now with no down payment, interest, or payments for a whole year. You can afford it because we finance. Get your government money and save big every month. Big Energy is getting nervous and the door of opportunity is about to slam shut. Paying $150 a month or more on energy bills? Then call 1-800-MySolar now for a free in-home assessment. 1-800-MySolar.
My home, my savings, 1-800-MySolar.
America has a serious narcotics problem. 90% of the world's narcotics are taken by Americans. They have a place, but when you're dealing with chronic pain, pain that doesn't go away or which frequently returns, there is a better way. You're masking the pain. We help you find and deal with the source of the chronic pain to get real relief. This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in pain. Our team are national leaders and we're educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. Contact us. We will help you. You don't have to live with chronic pain. We treat all pain. We don't mask it with painkillers and narcotics that are not good for you and which can be addictive. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
7:37 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim this morning, here's Dominic Fortini.
Roads getting a little bit more cramped on the outbound side of the Edens. Tie-ups begin right around the junction through Dempster, a half hour from Montrose out to Lake Cook. Inbound side of the Kennedy, we've got a crash. It's just out of the River Road Toll Plaza blocking off the right shoulder. Overall, 32 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 20 in from the junction, 15 in the inbound express. Outbound, very slow Armitage into Montrose, 45 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Also some brake lights from Montrose out to Sayre. Outbound Ike slowing Independence through 25th. Watch for delays on the inbound side of the Ryan as well. They'll start to slow you down as you approach the Stevenson. 23 minutes, 95th into downtown. This traffic report's a service of the American Association for Cancer Research. The American Association for Cancer Research is the world's first and largest organization dedicated to finding cures through research. Please support cancer research by donating today at www.aacrfoundation.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Sunny with a gusty breeze today, high of 74. Currently, 58 degrees at O'Hare, 59 along the lakefront, winds out of the west at 9. And your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
Dan and Amy, we talked about Planned Parenthood. They released their 8th video on Friday, right after a court lifted an injunction against Center for Medical Progress that had been issued on behalf of STEM Express. This is just a 2-minute trailer that's largely a compilation of some of the lowlights we've seen in the previous 7 videos, but again, there are more to come. And it has been a game changer in terms of the national debate on abortion, but at least as it pertains to Planned Parenthood's role and understanding what it is exactly Planned Parenthood does, what they're in the business to do. And there's been a lot of interesting thought devoted to this issue. And one of the more interesting pieces written in the last month or so is by Ruben Navarrete Jr., who always writes interesting pieces. He's a Harvard grad, but he hasn't let that get in the way of going on to accomplish great things in life. He wrote a piece that I saw in the Daily Beast. I don't know if I'm pro-choice after Planned Parenthood videos. And in the piece, he writes, among other things, I've only realized lately to be a man and to declare yourself pro-choice is to proclaim your neutrality. And as I've only been only recently been willing to admit, even to myself, that's another name for wimping out. Ruben Navarrete Jr. joins us now. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
And so when you say to be a man, to declare yourself pro-choice, is to proclaim your neutrality and to wimp out, what do you mean by that?
Well, I couldn't have come to this. And first of all, I appreciate your comment about Harvard because, I grew up in a town with... Here's why. I was just giving a speech not long ago, and I was saying, a few days ago, saying, I grew up in the San Joaquin Valley and farm country of Central California, and they're about common sense. So the great thing is being able to go to a place like Harvard, not lose your common sense. What this piece is about is common sense. And what I came to, thanks to my wife, who beat me over the head, frankly, and still beats me over the head every time a new video comes out from Planned Parenthood. My wife is pro-life. She forced me to confront this idea that I was not being a morally progressive man by simply saying, hey, the women can decide. This is women's choice. Woman's choice to do with what she wants with her body. Who am I as a man to speak to this? She forced me to think of it in terms I never thought about it, which is that it's a man's duty to protect children. Your own children, of course, other people's children, and in this case, unborn children or children who we know from these videos are alive when they enter abortion clinics and then cease to be. So she really drove that home to me, and it was not easy to hear, but it was important for me to learn.
So in all this time that you've been writing, a quarter century, you've never, ever talked about abortion?
That's right. I stayed away from it. I've written 2,000 columns, national columns, in 25 years. And I've written about every conceivable topic, parenthood, all sorts of things. But not this. I stayed away from abortion because I considered it sort of a clash of absolutes. You were never going to convince anybody we're dug in our heels. We're a 50-50 country on abortion. When you think about it, that's incredible. 49 this way, 51 that way, but mostly a 50-50 country. And so there was sort of a pointlessness to it, to writing about it, but also because I realize now that I've always had this thing in the back of my head, this inhibition about it, this hesitance about it, because I didn't feel right about the fact that I was condoning what my mother, who is also pro-life, flat out calls murder. So here I am with the two women I respect and admire and love most in the world, my wife and my mother, both from pro-life, me pro-choice. This is not an easy spot to be in. And I've been this way for a number of years, and now, I'm starting to look at this much differently.
Well, and then, so explain the impact the videos had, not just on you, but also on the public more generally. It seems to me that we're in a situation now as a country where, despite, the blackout by the old media, people are increasingly aware of these videos. They're, being distributed virally. And you can choose not to do anything. You can choose to kind of hang on to your position, but you can't choose not to know what you know anymore. And so it's more than just it's more than just about Planned Parenthood. It's also about this question that I think is creeping into the minds of many who hadn't contemplated this before, which is, is allowing this to go on, is this improving and producing a culture of life in this country, or is it leading us in a dark path towards a culture of death?
It's an important question, and this is, even if you only go as far as Planned Parenthood, I think it's important to separate Planned Parenthood from the whole procedure of an abortion, but and come to them separately. But even if you're only to Planned Parenthood, where I am, I no longer think it's a good idea for the government to hand over $500 million a year annually to Planned Parenthood under the guise that you're helping provide health services for poor women. And the reason I've come to this is because, in part, we now know that Planned Parenthood profits from the sale of these baby organs, and then lies about it, and then goes and hires an expensive PR firm in D.C. to do damage control. And the end result, as you just point out, is a censoring of the videos so that there's a blackout. You can't get them out. So I'm funding all this, right? No self-respecting journalist, nobody worth the profession that I've been in for 25 years can go along with a media blackout. Can say that somehow it's better that the public sees less of this than more of this. So I think that one of the things that brought me to this is I've been covering politicians for the last 25 years, and this will not surprise you. There are Republican politicians out there and Democratic politicians, regardless of party, who lie a lot.
Yes.
And so I've been accustomed to lying and being told lies for 25 years. And it's my job to clear the fog in the world of politics. So when I look at the Planned Parenthood video and all the spin that's happened since the first one came out, and now there are 8 that are out, I see fog, I see lies, I see all the stuff that I know very well. I'm at home here. And so I'm just as intolerant and about this as I am about politicians who lie to me.
So do you
I've got a really good BS detector, and it's going off like crazy when Planned Parenthood comes up.
So do you think Planned Parenthood should be shut down, or should they just be forced to get out of the abortion business?
I think they should be. I think the public money should dry up, and then they can do with it what they will. If they want to survive in the marketplace, if they think they can survive in the marketplace with all this bad press and with all the videos out in public and no media blackout and no $500 million a year, more power to you. You're not going to find me outside an abortion clinic holding, a mock bloody fetus. I'm not going to go all that way, right? One of the things I have to be honest with you that's kept me from the pro-life community for 25 years is the tactics turned me off. Like so many Americans, I'm in the middle, and I thought that the extremists in the pro-life community was not something I wanted to equate myself with. So you're not going to find me protesting outside a Planned Parenthood facility, but I don't want them to have my tax dollars either. So if it's a woman's right to choose, then fine, but it's also up to Planned Parenthood to pay for these things on their own and not profit from it. There should be more regulation about body organ sales and all of that. So I'm not here to shut them down. I'm not here to stop abortions in America. I'm here to say not on my dime anymore.
So when you, speaking of kind of politicians, the intersection of the two things you just said, when you hear presidential candidates weigh in on this, like John Kasich did, where John Kasich said, it's the law of the land that we live under. And Ramesh Ponnuru in National Review had a good quip in as a rejoinder to that. He's, well, actually, Governor Kasich, we don't all live under it. That's kind of the problem. The idea that this is the law of the land, and so I don't have to take a position on it. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to discuss it as a presidential candidate. How do you view that?
I don't like, and that's not good. That's not enough, not good enough, because you can say that about every issue. There are issues out there that are considered settled law, that where there's precedent in every single one of these public policies you can think of, whether it be immigration, the death penalty, or whatever. We're constantly going back and reassessing our views on this. I give Kasich credit. I like John Kasich, first of all. I think a lot of people respect a lot of what John Kasich brings to the table. But on this issue, he's trying to be bold that by being a sort of a pro-choice Republican who says he's personally pro-life, but, publicly he feels in his public policy he should be pro-choice, and trying to thread that needle in the same way that someone who's a Democrat might try to thread that needle. And there is precious little room for pro-life Democrats, so God bless them, and there's precious little room for pro-choice Republicans, so God bless them. I'm okay with that part of the equation, but if you're going to run for president in such a crowded field as this, you're really going to have to take these videos much more seriously. That includes Donald Trump, by the way. Donald Trump has gotten incredible media coverage, as you know, and he's way out in front. But he's so vocal and strong on immigration. I disagree with him on immigration issues, but he's clear on that. Where is he on Planned Parenthood? Not so clear.
Yeah, and he's been pro-choice, then pro-life. And what is he today, Dan?
He's pro-life.
He's given money to Planned Parenthood in the past. I mean, all of that. So this is a bad issue for him. It's very interesting when you think about it. How could someone who is far out in front, the GOP frontrunner, speak to a party that professes to be a pro-life party, and at a critical issue like this with 8 videos out and more to come, you would think this would be the number one issue of this campaign. So I'm not sure how all those pieces fit together.
Yeah, the only thing I would say, though, one thing just as a clarifying point, there is much more diversity of opinion on this issue under the umbrella of the Republican Party than the Democrat Party in terms of pro-choice and pro-Republican.
Well, not if you look at who speaks at the convention. If you're talking about it at that level, there is a great intolerance for, as I said, pro-choice Republicans and pro-life Democrats. But the point is, it's a 50-50 country. We haven't learned how to talk about this issue. And where I've come to finally is this great epiphany. I think it's an important epiphany. It came to me from the mail I got. I got incredible mail because when you pour out yourself in a column like this, you get readers who respond in kind.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them came to me with personal stories. And I read dozens of personal stories. I had an abortion when I was young, or my girlfriend had an abortion when my wife and I had an abortion when we were young. All these stories I heard over and over again. And the one takeaway, here it is. I was under the impression for 25 years I've been brainwashed by my radical feminist friends to believe that you're doing women a favor
Mm-hmm.
when you turn to somebody who's pregnant and say, you know what, you decide. I'm going to go, crack a beer and watch the game. You decide. I don't know how we came as men to accept that when women are now saying, listen, this is the most incredibly important decision of my life. I'm making it at 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're telling me it's your decision, you decide. Where were you? You were enthusiastically involved in the production and the making of this baby. In the act of making this baby, you were there all the way. And now all of a sudden, your head is for the door. I have finally realized that what Roe v. Wade really does is it lets men off the hook.
Yeah, that's right.
Bless you.
That's right. I mean, it is. It's an abdication of responsibility in the infantilization of America. It's consistent with that. There's no question. The other thing I would suggest, too, and I learned very young, I was fortunate because of great ladies in the pro-life movement, like perhaps your wife, is that abortion hurts women. That it's not so cut and dry.
Abortion hurts women. Exactly right.
It's not just this, medical procedure and then you forget about it 5 minutes after you leave the clinic. It doesn't work that way.
You've heard the slogan, one dead, one wounded.
Yes.
And there are these cute slogans. Gosh, there are these really cute slogans on the left. One on a bumper sticker. It's a pro-choice bumper sticker. Says, if you can't trust me with a choice, how can you trust me with a child? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Cute bumper sticker. And then you have a cute bumper sticker on the left that says, one dead, one wounded. But that second bumper sticker is sticking in my mind. It has been, this idea of one dead, one wounded, because I tell you, the women who I've heard from who've had abortions, they never get over it. They never forgive themselves. They will hate themselves, and they will hate you later. You think you're being a progressive guy right now? They're going to hate you later because you ran for the exit.
He is Ruben Navarrete, Jr., nationally syndicated columnist. Ruben, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine, gorgeous day, a light breeze, a high of 74 degrees. Tonight, clear, a low of 54. And tomorrow, we're going to have to water the lawn. So there's no rain in the forecast, mostly sunny, a high of 72. Let's get the travel times and say hello to Dominic Fortini, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Double-digit delays on the outbound side of the Edens this morning. 32 minutes from Montrose out to Lake Cook. Inbound side of the Kennedy a bit sloppy. We've got a crash just out of the River Road Toll Plaza blocking the right shoulder. 37 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 24 in from Montrose. 18 in the inbound express, while outbound slows Armitage through the junction. Then a bit of a delay out to Sayre. 47 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Outbound side of the Ike. 41 minutes from the post office to Manheim. 59 out to Thorndale. Inbound side of the Stevenson backs up Harlem through Kedzie. That creates a 38-minute trip from 355 from the Tri-State. Inbound side of the Bishop Ford, a bit slow from 103rd into the Ryan. Northbound Lakeshore on the brakes right near 18th Street. The traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Get out of the suburbs and enjoy all the things the lakefront has to offer. Visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com and find a fabulous entertainment cruise experience for two on Lake Michigan. For only $139, you'll enjoy a romantic gourmet dinner and a spectacular view of the skyline aboard the Elegant Odyssey at Navy Pier. If you feel like dancing the night away, then you'll love the Spirit of Chicago cruise. $115 for two includes dinner and dancing while taking in the stunning views. And for something completely different, experience the best dance club on the water. Take a Blue After Dark Moonlight Cruise on the Mystic Blue. Featuring late night hors d'oeuvres and an interactive DJ, it's perfect for a girls' night out or for a date night. Now, the Mystic Blue certificate is valued at $176 for two. It's only $88 at CRD. All these cruise deals are for two people for the price of one. Romance and fun are in the air and on the water this summer, brought to you only by ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. They really are just like your original ones. What you probably don't know is that not all implants are the same quality, and there are a lot of unqualified people doing implants.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one. I was happy with it. So I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth, and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. You'll be happy you did. And Fox River Periodontics.
Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you had questions about purchasing a home, you called me and I helped you. When you and your parents had questions about reverse mortgages, you called me and I helped you. When you needed help refinancing to lower your mortgage payments so you could afford the home after your spouse passed away, you called me and I helped you. If you'd like to talk to me about a mortgage, give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me, David at pearldavid.com. That's David at PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186, pearlmortgage.com licensing.
Thank you to all of our listeners who have purchased thousands of MyPillows over the last 18 months and are enjoying your best sleep ever. But that still leaves thousands of you who haven't taken advantage of the buy one, get one free offer. What are you waiting for? It's so important to get a great night's sleep. I absolutely love MyPillow. I take it with me on vacation. So does my mom. So don't wait any longer. MyPillow helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies, and more. Plus, MyPillow is washable, and it keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it was named the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer, visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Please use the promo code Amy. Do it now, 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy, 800-489-0201.
AST for Industry. This is John Haidt. My company is Anti-Seize Technology. We are the company behind hundreds of products used by industry and manufacturing worldwide. For over 35 years, my local company has made lubricants, adhesives, and sealants. I put my products up against any other company for quality and value. That's why we say AST for Industry.
Your maintenance crew can save time, money, and your equipment. Slick-On Flow Lube is a superior spray-on industrial lubrication for your sliding, rolling, squeaky, turning, press-fitting needs. Slick-On Flow Lube keeps your equipment in service and reduces costly breakdowns. Slick-On Flow Lube is a great product for your maintenance team from Anti-Seize Technology.
We will prove products from Anti-Seize Technology are better for your industry. Contact us for a demonstration. Go to AST4Industry.com. Remember, AST4Industry.com. Check out our line of lubricants, adhesives, and sealants for your company. AST4Industry.com.
When it comes to fixing things around the house, plumbing can be a real problem. But like any other problem, if you fix the underlying cause, then the problem goes away. If you've got low water pressure in your shower, sink, or washing machine, then the underlying cause is almost always your rusted and corroded pipes. The solution is to repipe your home by replacing those old clogged pipes with new, high-quality copper pipes. I'm Jeff Butler, owner of Repipe Specialists. We've been solving this problem by giving people brand new pipes and great water flow in their house for over 2 decades. In celebration of this 20 years, for a limited time, we're offering something we have never done before, and it's just for our Illinois customers. When you repipe the hot pipes in your house with us, we'll throw in all the cold water pipes and the patching for free. Plus, you still get a lifetime guarantee. So call now, 800-737-4746. That's 800-REPIPING. Get a hot side repipe and then get the cold side and the patching for free. 800-737-4746.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Walker stumbles on immigration with Clinton Foundation donor Zero. And Ellen Page and Ted Cruz have a little discussion about marriage redefinition over grilled pork chops.
Yeah, who won
pork
that?
Chops, easy for me to say.
Who won that fight? We'll play it and you can decide. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're following right now. University of Chicago gets named one of the best universities in the world. Governor Rauner signs a college sexual assault law. Storms did result in a couple of local tornadoes last week. We'll tell you where. Cubs swept the Braves. Mariners beat the White Sox in weekend baseball action, but players are calling on Major League Baseball to extend safety netting at ballparks. Sunny with a gusty breeze today. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. The stock market roller coaster is about to go straight down again in a sell-off made in China as the market there keeps plunging. But Republican presidential candidate and former HP CEO Carly Fiorina says it's an overdue drop on Wall Street.
Our economy is not particularly strong. 2% growth is very lackluster. China's economy has been slowing down for some time. Europe's economy is in trouble.
A half hour before the opening bell, Dow futures are down nearly 700 points.
This would tack on to the toughest week that we have seen in 4 years here on Wall Street, with the Dow dropping over 5% last week and the NASDAQ almost 7%.
Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides at the New York Stock Exchange.
There's a lot to navigate through. They're taking it a very cautious tone. There are some people who would say this is a complete overreaction.
Stock markets around the world also plunging after the index in Shanghai dropped more than 8% overnight. People are praying for a wounded state trooper in Louisiana the morning after he was shot in the head. Fox News Radio's Jeff Manasso has more live.
43-year-old trooper Stephen Vincent came under fire by a suspected drunk driver Sunday, who's seen on dash cam pulling a sawed-off shotgun near Lake Charles in southwestern Louisiana. Good Samaritans stopped and tackled 54-year-old Kevin Daigle, the veteran trooper. He's in critical condition.
He's fighting for his life. I mean, you've got to neurologically, his brain's just not telling the rest of his body what to do.
Colonel Michael Edmondson, the trooper's got a wife and young son. The suspect has a long criminal record, Dave, including multiple DUIs.
Jeff Francis, president, is giving his country's highest honor to 3 Americans and a British man who thwarted a suspected terrorist attack on a train last Friday.
You intervened. You threw yourself on the attacker who was trying to use his weapon.
The 4 men in all, tackled the suspected Islamic militant from Morocco who had a lot of guns and ammo. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunshine this morning, 59 degrees, 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Players this morning are calling on Major League Baseball to extend safety netting down the baselines after a weekend that saw 2 fans hit by foul balls and another by a piece of bat. The latest incident happening yesterday at Wrigley Field, where the Cubs were hosting the Atlanta Braves, and a woman was hit, sitting just a few rows behind the first base dugout. The CTA Green Line this morning back to normal after a train derailment yesterday. The incident happened early yesterday near 63rd and Ashland. Services were suspended for more than 3 hours. 2 are hospitalized after being shot in a South Shore neighborhood. A man and woman were both hit by gunfire in the 700 block of South Merrill. Police say the suspect, who is an alleged gang member, shot that pair near an alley. The woman is in stable condition. The National Weather Service says 2 very weak tornadoes did touch down in DuPage County last week. Daily Herald reporting an E0 tornado stayed on the ground Tuesday for 3 miles from Naperville to Woodridge. The E0 rating is the weakest on a 0 to 5 scale. Winds did top 80 miles an hour for a time. The second tornado hit Downers Grove. And the University of Illinois is set to honor its all-time winningest basketball coach today. Sources say the school is expected to name the new State Farm Center court after Hall of Fame coach Lou Henson. And there's a 1 o'clock news conference that is scheduled. Cubs winners over Atlanta 9-3. Chris Bryant with a pair of home runs. Seattle over the White Sox 8-6. The news, a service of Unbound. Ever wonder where your charitable donations are really going? At Unbound, you'll know who you're helping and what impact your support is having on their life. Just one way Unbound is different at unbound.org. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And the very latest from Wall Street this morning, here's Chris Honig.
From the Fox Business Network, a snowball effect has stocks skidding already. Asian markets tanked in their first day of trading after Wall Street's free fall on Friday. The chief Chinese market lost 8.5%. It's now given back all of the 60% in gains it had made through June. That's extending fears of a slowdown in the world's second largest economy and sending U.S. futures down substantially. The Dow off more than 400 in pre-market trading after losing 530 points on Friday and another 350 on Thursday. Pumpkin, cinnamon, how about a chestnut latte for the fall? Starbucks is testing out chestnut-flavored lattes and frappuccinos all September. You'll have to travel to get one, though. Japan has been chosen as the test market. Tom Brady is finding more support during Deflategate. Under Armour will release a new 30-second ad featuring the Patriots quarterback on Wednesday. It's part of a series of commercials featuring endorsees including golfer Jordan Spieth and NBA star Stephen Curry. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Chris Honig.
It's 8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The FICO score is not really even a good indication that you pay your debts back.
Dave Ramsey.
What it's an indication of is, do you love debt? And are you planning on staying in debt continually, forever? If you're running around trying to build your FICO score and you call that winning with money, you're stupid. Was I unclear? I hope not. Because you're not winning with money. That's the point.
It's the Dave Ramsey Show, tonight at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Call Quicken Loans now at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
I spend my days helping others. It's rewarding, just not always financially. So I got TIAA CREF. They were founded to help people like me meet our financial goals. They've got so many industry accolades, it's unreal. I like taking care of people. Sometimes that even includes myself.
Intelligent investing for the long term. Just what you'd expect from a company that's created to serve and built to perform. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA CREF Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. This testimonial is an act of betrayal. Investing involves risk. Individual results will vary.
8:06 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim this morning, here's Dominic Fortini.
Inbound Eden's 23 minutes. Lake Cook into the junction. Outbound tied up from Montrose out to Lake. It's 33 minutes from the junction out to Lake Cook. Inbound side of the Kennedy a little bit slow out of the Riverville Toll Plaza because of an earlier crash. Still blocking the right shoulder. 41 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 29 in from the junction. 20 in the inbound express, while outbound slows from Armitage into Montrose. 47 minutes downtown to the junction. Outbound side of the Ike, some bigger delays. Costner to 25th, 51 minutes from the post office to Thorndale. Also on the brakes, northbound 55 from Renwick to Route 126, all because of a earlier crash and now a disabled truck off on the right shoulder. Watch for delays on the inbound side of I-57, Halstead into the Ryan. Inbound Bishop Ford slows near 103rd. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast, a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today mostly sunny with a gusty breeze, high 74. Clear night, low 54. Then tomorrow mostly sunny throughout the day with a high of 72. Clear to partly cloudy skies for tomorrow night with a low 57. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare and along Chicago's lakefront. It's 61 at Midway. Next news at 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Quick thinking and gut instinct getting the credit tonight as the three Americans who helped tackle a gunman on board a Paris-bound train described in detail, together for the first time, how they were able to subdue the shooter.
He never said a word. He just basically came in, and when he entered the car, we saw him cocking the AK-47. So at that time, it was either do something or die.
Donald, welcome to my hometown, Mobile, Alabama. You know, if this were another country, we could maybe call for an expedited election, right? I would love that. Can we do that? Can we do that? I'd like to have the election tomorrow. I don't want to wait.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson? Before we get to presidential politics, there has been an Aaron Schock sighting.
Oh, yeah,
Aaron Schock. We're waiting to find out what the U.S. Attorney for the Central District is going to do with Aaron Schock in terms of indict or not indict. I don't really understand why it's taking so long. It seems to be fairly linear to me, but...
No, they're just dotting their I's and crossing the T's.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, Aaron Schock had a bit of a Jesse Jackson Jr. moment last week where he essentially said publicly to the prosecutor, either act or don't. Kind of sanitized version.
Kind of like what Governor Blagojevich did to Pat Fitzgerald.
Well,
you don't have the testicular fortitude to come after me.
Well, kind of like what Jesse Jackson said to federal prosecutors, bring it on.
Oh, yeah.
And then it done got brought in. So Aaron Schock.
Yeah, where was he, Dan?
The Equinox Gym in West Hollywood.
Oh, in West Hollywood?
Yes, West Hollywood.
Haters gonna hate.
As in West Hollywood, California.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's meeting with Ari Emanuel to sign him up to do some acting or something.
Well, I think he's always had a flair for the arts and for the big screen. He loves to take pictures of himself, as you can see from his Instagram account. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if he parlayed his career in politics into acting. That's probably why he was there. But do you see the creep?
Actually, it would shock me,
Really?
pun intended. Yeah, because, who's Aaron Schock? He's just a politician.
But
he's a
got
politician
nice-
who's a celebutant and wanted to be a celebrity.
Right.
And he loiters around celebrities as much as he can. That's not the same thing as having acting chops or having anyone be interested in you.
What if he goes to acting school and becomes a thespian?
Right, yeah, the great method actor. Here, he knows how to, misspend other people's money.
The crazy part of this picture, do you see the creepy guy in the background with the neutral colored baseball cap on? He's on an elliptical machine.
I see the creepy guy in the foreground.
And he has his camera there, so you can see him taking the picture of Aaron Schock and then posting it on Facebook.
Yeah,
So
well, there
his
you go.
stalkers, whatever.
Aaron Schock, the Peoria's favorite son, is in West Hollywood. So we'll stay updated
We'll let
on
you know when it
where's
gets
Waldo,
indicted.
and we'll also, and more importantly, the case. But a lot of interesting things happening in presidential politics. Joe Biden meeting with Elizabeth Warren, about to make the Democrat primary much more interesting than it has been currently. Bernie Sanders just doesn't provide quite enough entertainment value. Joe Biden meeting with Elizabeth Warren on Saturday. Wall Street Journal front page story over the weekend that he is inching towards Iran. It looks like he is going to get in. And, could Biden and Warren be a team that enters the race? That could be intriguing.
Well, the political pundits are abuzz with this possibility of a Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren 2016 ticket. The Met on Saturday, as you mentioned, for 2 hours at his at the Naval Observatory. And that's what they said that he was pushing for, a Biden-Warren presidential ticket.
Well, I'm sure he is. Biden Pocahontas, what would be the tagline? I'll have to think about that.
He told friends that if he does run for president, he will only serve one term.
Whatever.
Making it
so silly. Such a silly thing to say. Something Joe Biden would say.
He would, yeah. And he said if obviously if he's elected, he'd be the oldest incoming president. He's 72 years old right now.
Mm-hmm. And then on the Republican side, maybe we'll have Trump Carson. Ben Carson on the Sunday talk show said when asked about the possibility of being Donald Trump's running mate, said, I think all things are possible, but it's much too early to begin such conversations. Oh, boy, wouldn't that be the alpha and omega of responsible discourse? Be interesting. Donald Trump in Alabama Friday night, 30,000 people.
Wow.
30,000 people.
Bernie Sanders.
And perhaps the most important person there in terms of giving Trump legitimacy in Alabama and generally is you had a sitting U.S. Senator, Jeff Sessions, introduce Trump. He even wore one of those novelty hats he won at Great America.
Donald, welcome to my hometown, Mobile, Alabama. The American people, these people, want somebody in the presidency who stands up for them, defends their interests and the laws and traditions of this country. We welcome you here. Thank you for the work you put into the immigration issue I'm really impressed with your plan. I know it will make a difference. And this crowd shows a lot of people agree with that. Congratulations.
Yay. And then there's this. In the Washington Post, David Weigel, who's a liberal, makes note that in 2011, a new Alabama Republican legislature and governor enacted House Bill 56, the Alabama Taxpayer and Citizen Protection Act. Now, Weigel's a liberal, so how he characterizes this is not wholly accurate, but it's immaterial, and I'll get to the point. The point was to make it difficult for persons that are illegally there in Alabama to live there, so they will deport themselves. Renting a house or giving a job to an illegal immigrant became a crime. Police were empowered to demand proof of citizenship from anyone who looked as if he or she might lack it. School administrators were instructed to do the same to children. Donald Trump, talking after the 2012 election about the Alabama policy and about that was essentially the Romney policy of self-deportation, quote, he had a crazy policy of self-deportation which was maniacal, Trump told reporter Ronald Kessler. It sounded as bad as it was. Is that not part and parcel of what Donald Trump is suggesting today? And so the question becomes, if Trump is beholden to no one, as he suggests, because he doesn't take big donations from wealthy individuals or wealthy corporations, that it's just Donald financing his campaign, although he said he's now willing to take big donations. Just as long as
There's a donation page, too, now online.
Just as long as those donors don't expect anything in return except Trump-style government. But the question is, what is Trump-style government? Assume, for the sake of argument, that Trump is influenced by no one and beholden to no one. Do you trust Donald Trump's independent judgment at the helm of the most powerful government in the world to act in furtherance of your interests as opposed to his immediate self-interest, politically or financially? Because the history of Donald Trump is actually one of self-interest. Now, he was a businessman operating under the profit motive, but he freely used government as a sword or shield to advance his interests, as so many have done. And that is normally rejected by conservatives as part of the reason we have the expansive, corrupt government we have. Too much government for sale, as the Institute Justice might say. But it's okay when Donald does it for some reason. It also starts from the premise is, I'm rich, I'm not beholden. That if you're not rich, that number one, only rich people who can self-finance should run. Is that what we want? And number two, that somehow if you're rich, you have more integrity or you're a more ethical person. Two notions that I reject categorically. Sean from Elmwood Park.
You mean more trustworthy than a third-generation fraud like Bush?
It's not the only comparison, Sean.
Okay, how about Chris Christie? It's the only comparison we have when you cluster him with morons and frauds and corrupt politicians like 80% of the Republicans. Listen, I agree with you. Trump is a Democrat. There's no question about it. However, do you trust his ability to adapt and adjust? Now you're going to bring, I do. Now you're going to bring in the Democrats. How would you like to be a Democrat that is an honest person, that likes to work, that likes to earn money, and has some idea of property rights? You're going to bring in Dumb and Dumberer, whose tagline is, in case you're just not all filled up on stupid yet. They have nobody. What Trump is doing is beautiful for the true virtuous Republican, if he can emerge. Now, be that Ben Carson, be that Ted Cruz, or be that Carly Fiorina. I don't know. But what you're going to see now is they're going to have to talk about markets. And that's where Trump will reveal he is a protectionist. And that is far different than a free market capitalist. So if one of those other three can articulate that the Constitution is the schematic of conservatism and liberalism, that without rules, without separation of powers, you have different versions of Fabian socialism. If they can do that, they will steal the thunder. If not, I'll take the Trump over the other morons any day of the week.
All right, thanks for the call, Sean. Candace in DuPage. Candace.
Hi, good morning. I would like Ann Coulter to be Trump's cabinet member for immigration.
Well, really? Sure. She had that dry run in Sharknado, so she's ready for high office. Yeah, a high post.
Whatever, dear.
Why do you want Ann Coulter to be Donald Trump's immigration czar? Literally.
I want.
You want nasty. Okay, thanks for the call,
he's
Candace.
got the nasty.
So does she. Vince and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Vince.
Followed your governor campaign back in the day, but what I want to say is that one of the reasons I like Trump is because I am tired of the media. And when the media hits him, and they're going to hit him, he's going to hit back. They hit George Bush not by the hour, but by the minute, and George Bush didn't lash out. It's time for somebody to start talking back to the media and put them in their place, and Trump will do that.
It's the media's fault. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the call, Vince.
That's such an old song that's been sung by Sarah Palin and others.
But Vince is saying something different, though. He's not. It's the media's fault, but he wants to see somebody that's going to fight back against the media and compare Donald Trump's dealing with the media on issues from Anchor Baby to just about anything else to Scott Walker in this exchange with George Stephanopoulos over the weekend talking about Anchor Baby birthright citizenship.
Well, I said the law is there, and we need to enforce the laws, including those that are in the Constitution. My point is having this debate about anything else when we don't have politicians who are committed to actually securing the border and enforcing the laws, which means, very simply in our country, E-Verify, making sure that every employer ensures that the people working for them are legal to work in this state, in this country. That will resolve the problems we're talking about, and that's what I've been talking about this week.
So you're not seeking to repeal or alter the 14th Amendment?
No, my point is any discussion that goes beyond securing the border and enforcing laws are things that should be a red flag to voters out there who for years have heard lip service from politicians and are understandably angry because those politicians haven't been committed to following through on those promises.
Yeah, and then Stephanopoulos repeats it. He repeated the 14th Amendment question 3 times, and I understand Walker gave us kind of a substantive adult answer in terms of what he would do, but he didn't do what Trump would do, which is to say, George, you don't understand the 14th Amendment. You don't understand you need to shepherdize the case in terms of your interpretation of the 14th Amendment that's promulgated by the left. Let's start with Dred Scott. Let's talk about the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Let's actually get an understanding of what the 14th Amendment says and what it doesn't say. The left wants to have this debate on the 14th Amendment, and I understand that's not particularly practical in the context of a presidential campaign, but you need to push back against the faulty premises that the left starts from, simps like Stephanopoulos, Hillary Clinton donor zero, and Walker and the other Republicans don't do that. They let themselves get pushed around a little bit like I thought Walker did, even though I'm a Walker supporter, on Sunday. I don't like it, and a lot of people don't like it either, and they want to see a Republican that's going to put in the fight against the forces that are obviously allied against whoever the Republican nominee is, and it's perceived right now that Trump and to some extent Cruz and Fiorina are the only ones putting in that fight. We'll take more of your calls after this.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today. A lot of kiddies going back to school today. You might want to bring with you a light jacket. A high in the low 70s. And then tonight, clear, low of 54 degrees. And tomorrow, more of the same, mostly sunny skies. Highs in the low 70s. Let's get the travel time, see how the outbound Edens is shaping up. Here's Dominic Fertini.
Outbound Edens on the brakes, Montrose out to Lake. 33 minutes from Montrose out to Lake Cook. Big jam ups there. Inbound 23 minutes, Lake Cook into Montrose. The inbound Kennedy still struggling along. We've got a crash blocking the right shoulder out of the River Road Toll Plaza. 41 minutes overall O'Hare to downtown. 29 in from the junction. 20 in the inbound Express with outbound delays stretching from Armitage to the junction. 47 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound side of the Eisenhower slowing right around Manheim into Des Plaines. 52 minutes from Thorndale into the post office. Outbound side, brake lights Costner to 25th. And again, as you approach the Tri-State. Northbound 55 a little bit slow right around Renwick because of a stalled truck now on the right shoulder. Inbound side of the Ryan at 26 minutes. 95th into downtown. Southbound 53 slow rolling. Ran to Kirchhoff. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560. The Answer.
It's not too late. School is starting this week, and if you've been thinking about sending your child to a private school, now is the time to act. Don't start another school year wishing you made a different decision about your child's education, and you can make that decision for half the price of regular tuition if you visit halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you'll find dozens of local private schools that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price. There's no catch. It's very simple. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this week. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located all across Chicago, including Elgin, Algonquin, Villa Park, Crystal Lake, Kankakee, Mount Prospect, Chicago, just to name a few. But don't delay. Your child will be heading back to school soon. Are you sending him or her to the best schools? If not, visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so do not wait. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com.
At LifeQuotes.com, we've solved the worst problem there is with buying life insurance, the medical exam. At LifeQuotes.com, you can instantly compare the rates of 50 leading life insurance companies and buy online from the company of your choice. For example, a healthy male, age 30, can now apply for $400,000 of high-quality, no-exam term life insurance for less than $35 per month. Females pay even less. LifeQuotes.com is online, private, and convenient. Want more good news? Life insurance rates are now at all-time lows. At LifeQuotes.com, we make it easy to search the life insurance market in seconds, view the lowest possible rates, and apply online to the company of your choice. Visit LifeQuotes.com today to see how much you could save. Plan availability varies by state. LifeQuotes.com or call us at 1-800-640-LIFE. That's 1-800-640-LIFE.
If you're suffering from hearing loss, then turn up your radio because you'll want to hear this life-changing offer. Right now, you have the chance to hear things again more clearly and crisply than you ever imagined. Absolutely risk-free. You heard me right. Now you can try an amazing, life-changing technological breakthrough called Listen Clear and hear everything, absolutely risk-free. We'll even give you free shipping and free batteries for life, but you must call now. 1-800-300-3391. Listen Clear is precisely engineered by audiologists to fit your ear almost invisibly, and you can adjust it to hear more clearly wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Listen Clear is lightweight and practically invisible, so nobody will even know you're wearing it. Now you can hear everything with Listen Clear. Call for your 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-300-3391. That's 1-800-300-3391. 1-800-300-3391.
AM 560, The Answer.
We're talking Trump, Carson, Cruz, Walker, presidential politics, Biden and Warren. Amish Texter came up with a tagline for the ticket of Biden and Warren, the proposed ticket. Stupid running left.
That's a good one.
That's not bad. I like that.
Because our leaders are stupid.
He got the Native American piece in there. Very nicely done. George and Mokina. Hey, George and Mokina, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, good morning, Dan and Amy. I'm glad I got on. Your question is, why would should I trust Trump? I've been voting conservative for all my life, and look where that's gotten us today. So why shouldn't I trust Trump? He's the only one who's actually bringing everything to the forefront and talking about these issues in a way that brings the topics to a higher standard than what it's been brought to. And there's no reason why I should not vote for him.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why if you're a conservative, because what he has done previously runs counter to what he has said, and what he has said previously runs counter to what he's saying today. So that's kind of the indication of somebody that maybe is not so trustworthy. And you do have
stable.
And you do have other options. You do have candidates in this race who have proven themselves in elective office.
Dan.
Yes,
am
George.
I clear, Dan?
Yes, George. Yes,
Dan,
George.
I understand what you're saying. But I've been voting conservative, and these people have led us down the doggone road.
Has Scott Walker? Has Scott Walker?
The same conclusion.
George, has Scott Walker led you down the road, the primrose path in Wisconsin?
You know, I like Scott Walker.
Thank you.
I like Cruz, and I like Farino, and I also like Rubio. But you know what my problem is will they do it when they get in? I have to feel confident that when Trump gets in there, I feel that he's going to turn this place upside down and kick the morons that have been leading us down this path in the teeth and tell them exactly where they can go.
I got it. Thanks for the call, George. I got it. I appreciate it. Thanks for the call, George.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, honey, I'm home. How was your day?
Oh, don't ask.
Why? What happened? Or do I not want to know?
Well, the new carpet in the living room is ruined. Your daughter decided to have a tea party with her Mr. Fluffy Bunny and his friends. Now there are stains everywhere.
I never did like Mr. Fluffy.
That's already on top of the stains your teenage son made last week when he tracked mud all over the kitchen tile and sofa after football practice.
My teenage son? Well, I guess I'll need to talk to him.
Honey, we need to call Executive Green Carpet Cleaning today.
Executive Green understands family and the mess that sometimes comes with it. If it's been more than a year since you've had your carpet, upholstery, or tile and grout cleaned, you need to call Executive Green at 708-599-5151. They use their own purified water and a safe EcoGreen solution that won't leave a toxic residue for your next tea party. Best of all is the price. Only $139 for 3 rooms. Call 708-599-5151 now or schedule online at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
At some point, we're all going to die. You just never know when, right? That's why it's so important your estate is protected. Because if you own real estate or have assets of $100,000 or more and you don't have a living trust, your estate could go through probate and cost you tens of thousands of dollars in probate and attorney's fees. Your personal property, bank accounts, house, everything could be tied up in court for a year or longer. Your estate could be double taxed by the government, and it could be a real mess for your family. But you can prevent all of this by getting a will right now for as low as $195 or a living trust for as low as $495 from the Alpha Wealth Group, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau right here in Chicago. Call 1-800-748-3185. That's 800-748-3185. 800-748-3185.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, American heroes honored in France. What should President Obama do?
And what should you think about doing if you're ever in a situation like that? Do something or die at 8:38.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine, 57 degrees at 8:31. The market opens on Wall Street. Investors prepared for a tough day. Dow futures are down 400. Markets fell sharply in Asia and then in Europe. 4 men presented with France's highest honor today are being called heroes, but one of those heroes, American Alex Skarlatos, is downplaying his role after being given the Legion of Honor by France.
The guy had a lot of ammo. I mean, his intentions were pretty clear, but it really hasn't sunk in. It doesn't really seem real.
GOP presidential candidate Carly Fiorina says the 3 Americans honored by France for helping stop that attack on a train are some of the best this nation has to offer.
They are inspiring, and thank goodness for them. And you know what's also inspiring about these 3 young men? Their humility, their modesty. They're not pounding their chests. They're not talking about how great they are.
Fiorina on Fox. A Louisiana state trooper has severe brain damage. He was shot in the head during a traffic stop. Louisiana State's Police Superintendent Michael Edmondson says what happened to Trooper Stephen Vincent is not right.
But the gunshot wound to his head has messed up his neurological output. And simply, I guess as simply as I can put it, is his brain is just not telling the rest of his body what to do. 2
men who were driving by stopped, wrestled that sawed-off shotgun away from Kevin Daigle and put the trooper's handcuffs on him. Looking for a job? Chipotle wants to hire you. They want to hire as many as 4,000 workers in one day. The fast food chain announcing they're looking to expand their staff by up to 4,000 during next month's Career Day on September 9. Players here and around the league are calling on Major League Baseball to extend safety netting down the baselines after a weekend that saw fans hit by foul balls and another by a piece of bat. The latest happening yesterday at Wrigley Field. 2 are hospitalized after being shot in the South Shore neighborhood. A man and woman shot Saturday in the 700 block of South Merrill. This morning, police say the investigation continues. And 3 universities in the state are recognized as among the best in the world. The academic ranking of world universities, known as the Shanghai Rankings, have the University of Chicago, Northwestern University, and the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, all claiming at least one portion of a top 20 spot. Cubs over Atlanta. Seattle beat the White Sox. The news a service of the American Association for Cancer Research, the world's first and largest organization dedicated to finding cures through research. Please support cancer research by donating at aacrfoundation.org. 8:34 is our time, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher urges the president to help with relationships between citizens and police.
I do know that once again, we have an individual not doing what the police officer tells them to do. Hey, Mr. Obama, will you just once use your bully pulpit and remind citizens to do what the police tell you to do? Just once? Because maybe you'll save a bunch of lives.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
See all that Kubota can do for you and come by A.A. Anderson, 20508 Oak Grove Road in Harvard, or call 815-943-5454. Also visit them online, aaanderson.com.
This message is for home intruders, the cowards who break into people's homes to steal their hard-earned property, criminals who shatter lives and rob people of their privacy and security. Listen very carefully. We're the home security experts at LiveWatch, and we're taking you down. Because we're letting everyone try our newest home security system for 1 full year in their home. To take advantage of this amazing offer, call now 1-800-500-9903. LiveWatch has been helping protect homes for years, and we've learned the secrets that intruders like you don't want people to know. Criminals, it's time for you to be afraid, because every person who calls will be protected against cowards like you. To the criminals listening, we're taking you down. To those who want to help protect their homes, call the security experts to try the LiveWatch security system. There are no long-term contracts, and if you're not completely satisfied, you can cancel at any time. Try LiveWatch now by calling 1-800-500-9903. That's 1-800-500-9903.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
Well, I had back pain for the last 40 years. 4 days after I started taking this stuff, it's gone.
This summer was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
It's fantastic. My husband is loving the product. I'm so happy that I ordered it.
Yeah, I haven't got sick in a year, first time in my life.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
8:37 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Dominic Fortini.
Still tied up on the outbound side of the Edens between the Junction and Lake at 33 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound Kennedy slowing between the Junction and the Burns Circle, getting pretty thick with those Circle construction projects going on. 43 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 31 in from Montrose. 25 now in the inbound Express. Inbound side of the Ike jam solid. Manheim through Des Plaines. There was an earlier multi-vehicle crash. Finally pushed off the road near Des Plaines. It's an hour 14 at this point from Thorndale into the post office, almost an hour in from Manheim. Outbound delay stretch from Costner to 25th. Meanwhile, inbound side of the Ryan at 26 minutes from 95th into downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Before we get to your official Chicagoland weather forecast, just a note, we're watching developments as the big board opens up for trading in New York. At the bell, the Dow was down more than 900 points, starting to crawl its way back a little bit from there, but we'll keep our eyes on those numbers between now and 9 o'clock. Weather is a service of Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935. Sunny, a gusty breeze today, high 74, clear and 54 overnight. 56 at O'Hare, 59 along the lakefront, is 58 in Wheeling and 51 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So we have some American heroes named and unnamed this weekend. Let's start with the unnamed. This is been an underreported portion of the story of the Louisiana State Trooper who was shot, but Mike Scott mentioned it on his newscast, and I want to mention it as well. This trooper, Louisiana State Trooper Stephen Vincent, who was shot in the head and is in critical condition. This was during a traffic stop. The driver who shot Vincent was detained by passing motorists as additional citizens gave aid to the trooper until medical assistance arrived at the scene.
Good for them.
So somebody who took a shotgun out and shot a state trooper in the head, that didn't alter the interests of passing motorists, good Samaritans, heroic Americans who came to the state trooper's aid. And exactly right, good for them. They're unnamed. They may remain unnamed, but their action should not go unnoticed, because the contrast, of course, is the stories that get much more attention. The story of a man being stabbed 40 times and on a Washington, D.C. subway train while a bunch of ninnies sit around watching this happen.
Oh, yeah, watching it happen. And one person even recorded it. Instead of calling 911, decided, maybe, I can get this on YouTube and become famous. Yeah.
Or instead of a group action, hey, there's a lot of us sitting on this car. Let's all bum rush this guy with a knife and take him out and subdue him. So rather than allowing somebody to be murdered at our feet, it's incredible time. So you have kind of the two ends of the spectrum here. And of course, the named heroes are these Americans that were on this train from Amsterdam to Paris over the weekend and disabled a Moroccan-born Islamic terrorist who was going, apparently, to shoot up the train. The three Americans in question, Spencer Stone, Air Force, Alec Scarlatos, Oregon National Guard, and their college friend Anthony Sadler. Here's what went down, according to Spencer Stone, the Air Force enlistee.
But I kind of just woke up from the middle of deep sleep, and my friend Alec was sitting next to me. Anthony was across to my right side, and I turned around and I saw he had what looked to be an AK-47, and he looked like it was jammed or it wasn't working, and he was trying to charge the weapon, and Alec just hit me on the shoulder to say, "Let's go," and ran down, tackled him. We hit the ground. Alec came up and grabbed the gun out of his hand while I put him in a chokehold. It seemed like he just kept pulling more weapons left and right, pulled out a handgun. Alec took that, took out a box cutter, started jabbing at me with that. We let go. All three of us started punching him while he's in the middle of us. And then I was able to grab him again and choke him unconscious while Alec was hitting him in the head with the pistol or rifle. I can't really remember, but that's pretty much what happened. So,
yeah, the Alec Scarlatos tapping Spencer Stone on the shoulder and saying, "Let's go." What does that remind you of? Todd
Beamer, Let's Roll on Flight 93 when the men
absolutely.
And the flight attendants decided to work together to take down the terrorists and make sure that they didn't fly Flight 93 into the White House. But these guys, Spencer Stone, he was injured. He had his thumb severed off, and he had a gash, and you can see it in the video on the back of his neck from that box cutter.
Yeah.
But yet he still was helping a man who was shot in the leg. He didn't care about his own wounds. He was helping. He was bleeding out, and he helped somebody else the entire time until help arrived. He put pressure on his gunshot wound.
And the interesting thing, one of the questions that was asked at this press conference they had after the incident and after Spencer Stone had received the necessary medical treatment was instincts or training. And Alex Scarlatos, the Oregon National Guardsman, responded to that.
I feel our training mostly kicked in after this assailant was already subdued, frankly, when it came to medical care and things like that, and providing security, making sure there wasn't another shooter. But in the beginning, it was mostly just gut instinct, one survival, basically, like Spencer said.
Yeah,
and he had 8 magazines as well, so he was fixing for a fight. He wasn't trying to rob people, as his attorney suggested.
No.
This was jihad. This was a terrorist attack.
And we know, of course, from the news report subsequent that this individual was on the French government's terrorist watch list. He had been arrested previously. There's some information that he may have been training in Syria with elements of Islamic terrorism. So, yeah, pretty clear what was going on here. Again, France, still shaken from the Charlie Hebdo massacre and the French Jewish market massacre and the like. Random folks, as the president might say. So maybe not so random. So Scarlatos, though, instincts, not training. The same instinct that every American could have if they were kind of so philosophically inclined to aid someone in need. Remember that scene from A Few Good Men where the one Marine is on the stand and he essentially professes his guilt even though he wasn't really responsible for Santiago's death. And he says essentially under cross-examination that Santiago, it was his fault because Santiago was weaker and we're supposed to protect the weak. And we don't seem to have, actually I shouldn't say we, I don't want to be categorical. Some people don't seem to have that philosophy in this country anymore. Thankfully, some people, like in Louisiana and like on this train to Paris, do. This is interesting, too. I thought that perhaps the most important statement that was made was not by either one with military background, but by their friend Anthony Sadler, who said this in terms of the message that should be taken away from this incident.
And I just want the lesson to be learned that basically in times of crisis like that, I would want it to be learned that basically to do something. Hiding or sitting back is not going to accomplish anything, and the gunman would have been successful if my friend Spencer had not gotten up. So I just want that lesson to be learned going forward in times of terror like that, to please do something. Don't just stand by and watch.
Yeah, don't just stand by. And even that older British businessman who was on the same train, was able to try and trip the terrorist, and then they used his tie to hog tie him to finally try and subdue him. So, I mean, people did, and then there was 2 other people that were on the train that helped out as well.
And the soldiers, the American
our guys
trio
were the best.
there. No, but the American trio, they made mention, they were asked about that British passenger, and they said, he deserves as much credit as we do for kind of initiating it. Then they jumped him, and then what happened as described.
And he was honored this morning by the president of France, Francois Hollande.
Oh,
he gave
nice.
the 3 Americans and the British gentleman. We just spoke about the Legion honor, which is the highest honor you could be awarded in France. So what's President Obama going to do? He called them. Hey, good job, guys.
Yeah, beer summit.
Yeah.
Bill on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello. Yeah, I'm glad they caught him there and they caught him alive, because now they can waterboard him and get the information they need for where he was trained, who was helping him, where did he get the guns. If he was caught here, he would be probably having Muslim prayer weeks every other day. Terrible.
Thanks for the call, Bill. Appreciate
he'd
it. Yeah,
be in jail if he was here, but it wouldn't be waterboarding him.
Well, I'll tell you what. One other interesting side note on this is the restraint that these guys showed, and frankly, the passengers, once he was unconscious. You don't think there was? I mean, this guy injured people seriously, and it was intent on killing everybody on that train. More than likely, you don't think there was an instinct to put him out right there?
I think they did a good job. I mean, they knocked him unconscious and chokehold him. But to refrain themselves from killing him?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have.
Incredible.
I would have been tempted.
There's heroism on both sides of that, subduing him and also the restraint after the fact, honestly.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today. A light breeze, a high of 74 degrees. Clear tonight, a low in the 50s. And tomorrow, more of the same. In fact, you're going to have to water your lawns, as Mike Scott has mentioned, because there's no rain in the forecast the entire week. Tomorrow, sunny, 72. Let's see if the outbound Edens has gotten any better. Here's Dominique Forterini, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Not getting any better on that outbound side of the Edens. It's 33 minutes from Montrose out to Lake Cook. Heavy delays on the inbound side of the Kennedy now tie you up right around the junction through the Burn Circle. 47 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 35 in from Montrose. Another 30 in from the express lanes, not being very expressly there. Outbound side of the Kennedy at 38 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound side of the Ike, watch for some thick traffic right around Manheim through Des Plaines. There was an earlier multi-vehicle crash at Des Plaines, now pushed off to the shoulder, but still pretty slow. 54 minutes Thorndale into the post office. Outbound Ike tight. Cicero into First Avenue. 46 minutes from the post office into Thorndale. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Dominic Fortini on AM 560, The Answer.
So often on the show, we talk about the important issues that affect your world, things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. And on this show, because there's always so much going on, we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. It's one of the reasons I'm involved with the new website, along with the Illinois Policy Institute, called Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com. At Upstream Ideas, you'll find information that will inform some of the policy discussions that we're having here on this show and elsewhere. At Upstream Ideas, we want to broaden the parameters of debate and move beyond the same old partisan assumptions. We want to challenge accepted orthodoxies, and we debunk some of the faulty premises that inform the rules on which our free society is based. In other words, we're pushing against the current and thinking upstream. We'll ask, why are conditions the way they are, and how can those conditions be improved? So go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. We'll have new content, including highlights from the Illinois Rising Sunday show on the site today. And with each visit to Upstream Ideas, you'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized.
No one ever imagines facing Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia and needing full-time care, but it happens. And deciding on the right residential care for mom or dad can be a monumental task. There is a memory care community that focuses on helping your parent or loved one with dementia light up and live life to the fullest, making them feel like family. Autumn Leaves memory care communities see past the diagnosis to the person you know, that your dad was a fantastic cook, or that your mom loved to dance. A person who deserves so much more than being just an Alzheimer's patient. Whether it's through yoga and music therapy or simply by cooking them their favorite meal, Autumn Leaves strives to stimulate their minds and bodies to respect and nurture the person you care so much about. See for yourself the difference Autumn Leaves communities can mean for your family. Autumn Leaves, dedicated solely to the unique needs of memory care patients.
Autumn Leaves has 10 locations in the Chicagoland area offering day-stay respite and assisted living programs. Call 888-662-8886 or visit autumnleaves.com.
Are you ready to take your education to the next level? Arizona State University now offers over 90 top-tier degree programs, 100% online. With ASU's highly ranked online programs, you'll earn the same degree as our on-campus students, with the ability to learn wherever you want, whenever you want. Same world-renowned faculty, same leading education, same global recognition from one of the top universities in the world. Call 1-800-504-3229. That's 1-800-504-3229.
I'm Jamie from Sherman Oaks, and I just graduated with my degree from Arizona State University. I chose ASU because I received the quality education I deserve in the major I wanted, all from my home.
Jamie's not the only one to earn a degree from ASU. There are over 90 degree programs offered 100% online from one of the top universities. Now's the time to learn more about earning your degree online from Arizona State University. Call 1-800-504-3229. That's 1-800-504-3229.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Moral conundrum, I need your help, Dan, or any listener, 312-642-5600. Last week, I was in my car backing out of a parking spot and didn't hear anything, didn't feel anything, didn't have the radio on. I was with my kids. Everyone was buckled in. I wasn't on my phone. And I backed up on Southport. I've been parking there, on and off for years. And I'm driving down the street and this guy jumps in front of me and says, "You hit my scooter."
There he is.
So there he is. He's back. And he pretty much held me hostage on, standing in front of my car saying, we have to wait for police. This is, you hit my scooter. And I said, I didn't hit your scooter. I took pictures. There wasn't any scratches. There wasn't damage done. So I go to the police station because I know police are not going to respond to that. He tries to get me arrested for a hit and run. He tries to get me arrested for a felony.
Leaving the scene.
Yeah, but there was no hit to run from.
Right, I got it.
So
So this is like a pratfall. This is like a PI attorney.
Yeah, like it could have been insurance fraud. I don't know what it is, but I know that I'm a responsible driver. My driving record is perfect. I've never hit a car, never even scratched another vehicle in my life. And so his insurance company, Progressive, called my insurance company, USAA, respectable ones.
Yes.
They want to broker a deal. They want me to apologize to him because he's hurt. Amy,
what do you mean apologize?
They want me to write a written apology or to reach out to him to apologize. Then he won't file a claim against me or this is such feel good liberal muckety muck
Well, that's why you get Progressive Insurance. That's why I'm saying Progressive. It's a big liberal that's the head of the company.
But I don't even know if I hit his scooter. I don't believe in my heart of hearts that I hit his scooter. There's no scratches. There's no damage. Do I write the apology to just get the headache to end, to make it stop, make the phone call stop?
Let me write the apology.
Well,
I apologize that you're
Lululemon bag.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry that you own that scooter, 50 cc's. Man up. I mean, I had a 175 cc scooter. And guess what? My scooter got knocked down all the time. And I had scratches and dings on it. And so what? That's just life. If you live in a city, you're going to have people scratch your car or ding your car. And you don't go after everybody every time that happens.
I apologize that you're a sissy with a sissy insurance company. I apologize that you have nothing better to do in your life than harass people.
Right.
I apologize that you detained me and then are blaming me that you were late for your rehearsal at the Baton Club or wherever he was going.
We don't know if he was going to the Baton Club. But, I mean, it is a crazy thing. And I even asked the insurance adjuster, I said, is this normal? I mean, really, are you seriously? Aren't you running a business here? And if I write an
What's your insurance company say?
USAA said the damage that they're claiming is $50. We're not even dealing with this. This is craziness. We have other more important issues to deal with. So they I have to pay I don't even want to pay the $50.
And you have to make a decision by tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll have to pick this up tomorrow with let you sleep on it.
I'll sleep on it, and I have to make a decision by end of the day tomorrow because I don't know what to do.
I'll give you a couple of draft letters tomorrow to consider.
Work on that.
But no, there's no way this is going down without a fight.
Sorry. With a capital S and a capital R-E. You know what I mean.
For collectors of coins and currency, investors, or people who want to check out some fantastic history, make plans to attend the 56th Annual Coin and Currency Show presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association. The show is at the Tinley Park Convention Center, Thursday through Saturday, September 10th through 12th. Admission and parking is free. Just bring your photo ID. This is one of the largest shows in the country, with hundreds of dealers and displays valued at millions of dollars. If you're a serious collector, this is a show you can't miss. If you're an investor or just want to find out more about coins and currency, this show is a can't miss. Bring the friends and family and look at history right in front of you. Don't miss special events for kids on Saturday, seminars and events all weekend long. The Illinois Numismatic Association presents the 56th Annual Coin and Currency Show, Thursday through Saturday, September 10th through 12th at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Thursday and Friday, view items for a rare coin auction that starts Friday at 4 p.m. Get more information at ilnaclub.info.
With ChicagoRadioDeals.com, seeing is believing, and you have to see the deal from Vision One LASIK Center. Get LASIK surgery on both eyes at their state-of-the-art center in Lombard for only $1,900. This is a $3,800 value. Start with a consultation at any of the Vision One LASIK centers in Arlington Heights, Chicago, or Lombard. Vision One is a private practice with LASIK specialists Dr. Brand, Dr. Martin, and Dr. Berger. Hey, are you ready for this hot deal? Bikram Yoga of Rolling Meadows has a 10-class package at their beautiful studios on Hicks Road. Bikram Yoga, a series of 26 yoga postures and 2 breathing exercises taught in a 90-minute class in a 105-degree setting. This package retails for $130. It's only $50 at CRD. CRD features fabulous deals for skincare like microdermabrasion from Hannah Facial Cosmetics Surgery of Hinsdale, or for the best in relaxation, experience spa treatments at the Primal Ocean Salt Caves in LaGrange. All this and more can be found only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
When it comes to fixing things around the house, plumbing can be a real problem. But like any other problem, if you fix the underlying cause, then the problem goes away. If you've got low water pressure in your shower, sink, or washing machine, then the underlying cause is almost always your rusted and corroded pipes. The solution is to repipe your home by replacing those old clogged pipes with new, high-quality copper pipes. I'm Jeff Butler, owner of Repipe Specialists. We've been solving this problem by giving people brand new pipes and great water flow in their house for over 2 decades. In celebration of this 20 years, for a limited time, we're offering something we have never done before, and it's just for our Illinois customers. When you repipe the hot pipes in your house with us, we'll throw in all the cold water pipes and the patching for free. Plus, you still get a lifetime guarantee. So call now, 800-737-4746. That's 800-REPIPING. Get a hot side repipe and then get the cold side and the patching for free. 800-737-4746.
Sadly, summer's almost over, but there's still time to enjoy one last summer music festival. The Naperville JCs are celebrating 50 years of Last Fling this coming Labor Day weekend. This year's live performances include Lita Ford, Bad Medicine, Chevelle, and Daughtry. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit lastfling.org. But you can win a pair of tickets to Daughtry's performance on Saturday the 5th by being caller number, what?
50 for the 50cc scooter. No, caller number 5.
Caller number 5 to 312-642-5600. Right now, caller number 5, 2 tickets to Daughtry.
Our thanks as always for listening. Thanks to David Stripling and Cesar Perez.
Shake and bake.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 a.m. Now let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we're monitoring Wall Street along with Fox this morning, down 685 at the moment. Details on that coming up as well. And police say 2 were shot in a South Shore neighborhood as gunfire erupts on the Dan Ryan Expressway this morning. Cubs sweep the Braves. Mariners clip the White Sox. And sunny skies. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. China's crash is costing us more cash. That opening bell rings in an even uglier sell-off than the bad one last week on Wall Street. Dow way down, the NASDAQ too. Fox Business Network's Nicole Petalides live at the New York Stock Exchange.
Good morning, Dave. Well, the Dow Jones Industrial Average at its lowest point fell 1,089 points. That is the biggest point drop ever on record for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. However, we are up off the lows of the day and down 639 points as we speak. With all 30 Dow components to the downside, the worst of the bunch, Apple, American Express, Boeing, each down more than 4%. You have a slew of names that are in bear market territory, down over 20%.